I even think they could hear that. Yeah, sorry guys. We had a really bad connection on Greg's end, and we're just trying to get through it. I'm trying to send him the link. Which is really weird because we tested it, Greg and I, last night, and everything was fine.
Mouse cock.
It's another mouse cock. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is well. Let's see. Why don't you say something there, Crazy Mouse?
Check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah.
Bleeker, Justin, Krugus, Chris, Laryngeco, Jeff Hatch. Jeff, thanks for trying to calm the storm by doing a giveaway.
All right. Let's see here.
I see Greg's picture.
See Greg. So we're going to try to, if you'll excuse me a moment, I'm going to go over here.
Taurus says Canada's internet stops us.
Yeah, 1 second here. I got to put the link in here for old Greg.
Surly, I am 100% not the house technician.
Greg, can you hear us?
I can.
Oh, check it out.
We got it.
Surely, I take that back. I am the house tech. Just fixed it.
Although, he's fading again. Oh boy.
There he is again.
I'm trying to say, yeah, boy. Hey, Greg, if you can hear me, maybe try to do a speed test. 1 second. I'm going to send it to him.
I hear Greg typing.
Yeah. So you can hear us right now, Greg?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, it's just your picture was like real choppy for a second there. So maybe it's stabilized. Or maybe not.
I'm going to drop out and try it.
All right. Let's go back again. Well, I hope how is everybody doing as far as like their holiday shopping?
I have not even started. I get in the Christmas spirit next week. That's me personally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of do it all
week before. Huh?
Yeah, I kind of do it all in one day.
Yeah.
Mine's easy. It's a lot of gift cards, so it's nothing hard.
Yeah, it's true. We're starting to get into that too. What about the chat? How about you guys?
Some people are saying all done and wrapped, barely begun, paying bills first. Amazon.
Yeah.
What is this shopping you speak of?
Yep. Hey there, Greg. Can you hear us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Picture looks good this time.
All right.
So we'll try to go. We will try to go. First of all, how is Dragonslayer coming along?
Dragonslayer's done. So its last file was submitted today. So I should have the final print proof at the end of the third week of January, maybe the 4th, subject to holiday slowdowns and whatever. So end of January, we're looking good.
Boy, you're actually going to deliver early, huh?
Yeah, I'm either on time or slightly early. And so I, despite everything, I've managed to keep it on track. Drive-through has some long delays, but and if they had a regular 3-week cycle, we'd be well ahead in January. But I want to get the book to people as early in the year as I can because it's the 50th anniversary of D&D, and we want to game all year.
Oh yeah, I know that was your big target, was getting it out by the anniversary.
Is there a specific anniversary date?
Yeah, what is the exact date? Do you know, Greg?
I don't actually, but I'm sure that information is available somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you guys in the chat, maybe somebody knows if that. I've never heard of like an exact date being assigned to it, but who knows?
Hey, all horses have the same birthday, they say.
Yeah, there you go. I wanted to pick your brain before we get into
Cal saying February.
February of 74. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, February, March. Yeah. Yep. Greg, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. This is 1 second here. I forgot I'm going to have to share something with you. Okay. Can you see that now? The new round of layoffs at Hasbro impacts Wizards of the Coast. So it's basically just what a holiday gift. Looks like they are laying off 1,100 workers. Now, it seems like most of them, unfortunately, are kind of rank and file, like factory workers and stuff like that. But they did get one notable head, and that was Mike Merles. So first of all, just your thoughts in general about the layoffs. Anything to say on that?
Well, they always lay off in the end of the fourth quarter, and at the end of the year, so to speak. So I'm not surprised at all. Everybody knows heads roll so that they can improve their bottom line. But given the stock and the lack of toy sales, I mean, they've got to be hurting.
Yeah, I don't think they're in a good way. And
what does Hasbro trade under? Like, if you were looking at their stock price, what is it? Hasbro?
Yes, I'm not sure. I don't invest in them, fortunately. Yeah, I think somebody in the chat probably knows. Maybe it's HAS. Not sure. Not quite sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it's they've been bleeding value over the last couple of years.
HAS says more cowbell.
Yep.
And Travis, Rando, and Magnificent.
Yeah, look at their, after the stream, go look at their price over the last year.
Maybe stocks are on sale. Maybe this is the time to buy in.
Not the way they're doing business. I wouldn't buy in there unless they make a complete overhaul. So one of the guys that they let go was good old Mike Merles, who I put this tweet out there. I reminded people of his tweet here. This is what Mike Merles said a few years back. Funny how many of the same fans who insist on gatekeeping via rules complexity and lore density also have a problem with women in tabletop gaming. Hey guys, you're all fired from D&D. Find another game. Do you have anything to say on that? And any thoughts on Mike Merles? Have you ever met Mike Merles? Do you know him at all?
No, I traded a couple emails with him years ago in the midst of the 4E debacle, and but he oversaw one of the worst editions ever, so his legacy is not intact. That's for sure.
You talking about 5th edition?
4th edition.
4th.
Okay. He was right in there. So yeah, 4th edition is the worst version of Dungeons and Dragons ever.
Well, it's a lot of people say it's not really D&D. As a war gamer, I actually didn't mind some aspects of it, but I can see what people are saying. Like it's just not really D&D. The inflation, the numbers in that game, just ended up getting insane.
No, it's just lame. So I mean, that's the easiest way to explain it. It's lame. The art's lame. Now, I will give it credit. The art of 4th edition matches the mechanics, but if the mechanics are terrible, the art's not going to be great either. And it was such a departure from every version of D&D which preceded it. It's got no redeeming quality.
Yeah. They definitely wanted to try something different, but they're also trying something. Now it's almost like they're too timid and they don't want to change. It's like that. I don't think that's going to work. I really don't.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Of Mike Merles?
Well, both the layoffs and also Merles.
The layoffs don't surprise me. They're not doing well. That's why they need to monetize D&D. So yeah, I mean, I saw it coming. I didn't know it would quite be 1,100, but yeah, just like you, it kind of doesn't surprise me, especially at year end. They want to show shareholders that they're trying to do something.
How many sensitivity readers do you think they let go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They got rid of the poor, the poor toy packagers and stuff like that. But these goofballs, like Tanya DePass and Daniel Kwan and folks like that. I'm assuming that they're using them, but probably not many sensitivity readers. And poor Mike Merles, he got the circular firing squad, because I did talk to Pundit about him, and Pundit worked with him actually pretty closely with 5th edition at the onset of that. And he said Merles was kind of like an old school liberal. Like he was liberal, but he kind of like rolled his eyes at some of the insanity that was just starting to like come into vogue back then. So it's kind of curious then that they came for his head for his defense. I think he defended like Zach Sabbath, if I'm not mistaken, and that got him into the naughty corner of those folks.
What are you saying? He's not woke enough?
You never are you?
You would sacrifice on the altar of wokeness?
You never ever are, Greg. Ever.
Mm-hmm,
all right, so Rogan is here now. If you want to say hi, Rogan. He's still getting his headphones on. Why don't you help me out here, Crazy Mouse, as I pull something up? Let me know what the chat's saying.
I'm reading right now about Hasbro stock, and analysts are saying to buy it right now.
Yep. I need the mouse, by the way. Here.
I don't have it.
Oh, okay. Anything else?
No, just that the stock has gone up the last week and the last month. The last 3 months, though, overall it's down, but it's actually trending upward in Hasbro.
Yeah, well, maybe people think they're actually.
Analysts are saying to buy it.
Nobody's
just from what I said,
nobody's
stocks
buying
are on
their
sale.
toys, which is why they're all on sale at Ollie's.
All right, 1 second here, Greg. Let me switch scenes so we can get into the meat of it. We want to discuss the Dragonslayer game. We'll take a closer look at the PDF, guys. You are getting a exclusive. All right, so 1 sec here.
Hey, Greg, it's good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
All right. We did that without breaking anything. That's always good. Okay. All right. Can you guys see that? The Dragonslayer game.
It is up right now. I'm on our
Cool. Good.
It's beautiful.
All right. First of all, Greg, I really love that splash page when you open up. This will be the first page when you open, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the frontispiece.
Yeah. Man, it just sets the tone right away. I will say as we go through this, some people might be like, well, why do I need something that's sort of basic, sort of 1E? And that's fine. A lot of people say like, oh, I have old school essentials. And that works for me. And then, hey, if it does, that's great. But I will say this: the art in the old school essentials book is very much hit or miss. It is not very inspiring at certain times. The art in this game is kick ass all the time. I mean, it is just beautiful.
It is beautiful.
All right. So the first page I wanted to look at here is just the races. And here they are.
Can you hear me, Double D?
Oh yeah. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep. So tell me about the Cyclops man.
So, I mean, those have, origins from 80s film. And I wanted something that was when I was writing Drow Deep, I wanted to include that race just in terms of the dynamic, and I had a cool kind of backstory for it. And then And then I thought, okay, well, we want to have one thing in there that's an addition to all the classic races. And I thought and we've got like sort of your halfling, gnome, dwarf in terms of the wee folk, and then I thought the cyclopsman might be fun. And I had a vision for the character, for the race type. So yeah, it's just it's a bit of a fun thing. And when I played it, everyone wants to play a cyclopsman, so that's usually a good sign.
Yeah, the Crulla Cyclops says that. I like them. Now these guys cannot drink alcohol, right?
Yeah. So the idea is, just so everybody knows, with the cyclopsman, they're supposed to be as rare a race as the paladin is a class. So they're not common, not at all. And so they'll be a little harder to qualify for, but that's purposeful. They're not intended to be, like an elf or human or a run-of-the-mill PC race. So as long as you have that in mind, they're supposed to be rare and unique, which gives them more flavor. Just like when you actually roll high enough to play a paladin, it's pretty cool to have a paladin at the table, even though they usually die pretty quick.
And you do, I think, roll 3d6, but roll it 7 times and then drop the lowest. That's how you roll, right? I think that's what you actually recommend in here too. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, if you want to do 4d6 and just drop your lowest, you can absolutely do that too. It's now keep in mind that because the ability score bonuses are based on BX, so you'll get +3 at 18. So you need to keep that in mind. So that's one of the reasons why I have it the way I do. And again, I think this idea has been normalized that you need to have all this stuff in your character sheet when the answers are not on your character sheet. The answers are what you as the player, the guile, the wit, the ingenuity, the intelligence that you bring to that halfling thief, or you bring to that human fighter, or you bring to that elven magic user. That's really what it's all about at the end of the day.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for letting me know I'm echoing. Yeah, I had a source. Like I said, we had to kind of scramble here. That I should be good here. Let's go to the next one. I privately contacted you. This is one of my favorite pictures in the whole book. The druid looks like Alan Moore.
So there's very specific background to what I wanted with the brief for the druid. So if any of you have seen the film The Eagle, about the Roman legion in Britain that loses their standard, at the start of that film, there's a really cool druid in a chariot, and this is inspired by that fellow.
Yeah, and I have not seen that, but I will definitely put it on the list now. Yeah, because that inspired a really, really cool piece of art there. To me, like, that's what a druid should be, right? Don't you think, Rogan?
Oh, absolutely. Alan Moore / Charlie Manson.
Charles Manson.
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah. I didn't quite see Charles Manson, but now that you did mention that, I can't unsee it.
And Crazy Mouse said a little Rob Zombie. I can see that too. God, it is like an amalgamation of all of them.
It is an outstanding drawing, though. It really is.
Yeah, but if you watch the first 15 minutes of The Eagle, you'll be like, I get it.
Yeah, because I've always felt like druids, they're always sort of played as just kind of like, they're just clerics, but of nature. I mean, they should be like caked in like mud, and like they should smell like, I mean, they should like be completely different than what I think most people play them as. And this is like a guide, I think, for people to like maybe reimagine how they do it. Yeah,
like for Celtic peoples, druids were their leaders, they were the advisors, they were the scholars, they were the healers. There's a very specific role for the druid with the Celtic peoples. So I wanted to sort of capture that. And I also tied the druid to standing stone. So whenever the druid is near a stone circle or near a standing stone, they get little bonuses to their spells, and either it's duration or what have you.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, sacred stones. A druid within 30 feet of a standing stone or with a stone circle increases the duration of their spells by 3 rounds. Wow. Yep.
And there's some little things tucked in spells too that'll also accentuate that.
All right. This is the one that everybody was asking about.
Yep.
The monk. The Western monk, though. It is kind of interesting, though, because they sort of play a little bit like the other monk, as far as like with the quarterstaff and that. I guess they don't have like the quivering fist and all that stuff, but they're still martial characters. They just kind of know how to do this really simple combat strategy, with the quarterstaff. So anything you can illuminate here with the monk.
Yeah. So with the monk, I wanted to. So the monk, if we look at it in the context of AD&D, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit because everything in there is Western Eurocentric, and the monk is not. And I thought there was an opportunity to revise the monk so that it was more in line with the themes of the rule book and also the other characters. So in this example, the monk is more of a monastic cleric. And so he gets spells a little bit later on, but he's a quarterstaff specialist and scholar, and so he gets some additional bonuses in those regards. Taken a vow of poverty, may have to take a vow of silence, subject to behavior. So there's some interesting things that go along there.
Yeah, if the monk violates their alignment, faith, deity, or monastic order, they are required to take a vow of silence. The vow lasts for 1 experience level. So this is not just a day of silence. This is
No.
This could go on for a while.
And then so I wanted to also incorporate some Gregorian chants. So we've got the holy chant there as a little bonus for that class.
Chant is a soul action, yeah. Further in those areas of effect, immune to sleep charm. Oh yeah. This isn't just like superficial stuff. You've done your work and like kind of incorporating what everything we would assume a monk is, fictional, of course, to some extent into this. I really like this. This would be a really interesting class to run.
When I play tested it at conventions this year, everyone's enjoyed the monk and the cyclopsman for sure.
They can turn undead too.
Later, yeah, not the same as a cleric, on a later curve.
Holy pilgrimage. A monk must make a pilgrimage to a site sacred to their monastic order at level 5. I love that because it seems like they've gotten away from that in the later editions of D&D. These things that you get to this level. Guess what? You got to do something at this level, and maybe I'm missing it. I don't know. Maybe chat can help me out if that's not correct. But that sort of thing was always so cool. You're building up your character to it,
and it's also it's something that the DM can incorporate, right? In the confines of a little side adventure, or it could be the seminal sort of piece for a full adventure. And I just wanted to give these opportunities to flesh out the character and flesh out the background and that kind of thing. And it's an opportunity, a creative opportunity for a fun adventure.
So Greg, right now, if people are looking at this and they're saying like, man, this is really blowing my skirt up. I like this. How can they order it right now? Like eventually it's going to be on drive-through, right? That's
right. Yeah. If anybody wants in on it, you can just PM me directly and we can figure it out off Kickstarter. And then that's what I've done that for years. So that's no trouble.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I put a link maybe to your email in the description of this. So if you guys are interested, you don't want to wait until it clears drive-through. Just send Greg an email with your information. You guys can contact. But like I said, eventually it'll be on drive-through and you can get it there as well.
A great comment there in the chat. Magnificent Devil says they've been scrubbing my Christian influences from RPGs for decades, and I completely agree with the comment. And so some of the core fundamental values in Dungeons and Dragons are it's Christianity and it's Western Eurocentrism, and these are things that WotC's desperately trying to take out of the game, but it's a foolish endeavor. It's like trying to take literacy out of Scrabble. It's like trying to take deduction out of Clue. It's trying to, take real estate capitalism out of Monopoly. You can't do it. It's not going to be the same game. It's not going to have the core influences that make it awesome. So, I all those things are present and will remain so in my games. And even if you know the people that know barrowmaze well, I mean, the Christianity flows through barrowmaze start to finish. So it's really central to the game. All the the AD&D books, it was central to Gygax, and it's central to the work I do as well.
Yeah, they really do seem to be getting away from that this sort of emphasis on
Double D and Greg. Someone is asking in the chat if there's going to be a hard copy.
Oh yeah, yeah. As soon as I deliver to all the people that either took part in the Kickstarter or filled in afterwards, they'll all get their print codes and PDF codes first, and then a little while later it'll go live on DriveThru.
And that would be a hard copy.
Yeah, you can buy a print on demand from DriveThru. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even think there probably will there even be a soft cover option?
Oh no, it'll be hardcover all the way. That's for sure. Like with honestly, Jeff Easley's work deserves hardcover. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that cover is really nice.
Yeah, people are on the chat right now. Oh, you got a super chat.
Yep, see that?
Someone was commenting that they only want hardcover, and then someone else asked, how much would it be for a hardcover?
Well, it'll be a little bit more expensive than the Kickstarter price. So I'll make the Kickstarter price available for anybody that wants to jump in before then. That's the advantage of, so, the great thing, like with Kickstarter, and I can't speak for anybody else, I'll just speak for myself, is that, you support the creator when you contribute there, and that allows the bills to be paid, so to speak. So, DriveThru is also support, but it's not quite the same, relative to getting the Kickstarter going.
Oh, you mean, Greg, you're not supposed to start a Kickstarter campaign when you already have money, and then are like 2.5 years from finishing like a certain company.
So you have to, if you do these things, whether you're doing something small or you're doing something big, you have to parse out how, budget for everything. And inside the budget, you're also budgeting in part to have the resources to start the next project, right?
Yeah.
So you get that ball going, and if you're smart and you're doing the things you should be doing, and you stick to your budget, then you're good to go. Now, I will happily go over budget to make a book awesome, because it's like you want it to have shelf life when it comes out. You want it to have staying power, and by investing in the book, you prolong its shelf life.
Well, I'm going to guess you went over budget on the art on this one.
Happily, but it was well worth it.
It's kind of what I mean too, because I think the closest thing you could compare it to is Old School Essentials, which I said is a very fine game. But I look at some of the art in that, and it's like some of it's very hit or miss. But I can't think of one miss in this. Like, you have some really good artists. You have a lot of XTSR artists. Like, I know Darlene has a picture here.
She's got a few. She's got a few of the monsters as well. So she's tremendous to work with. She's such a tremendous artist, and she's so friendly and kind. And so I'm very, very pleased and grateful that she was willing to work with me again.
Yep. $2 super chat. I want to get that real quick. Alex Clark, thank you so much, Alex, for saying that. I'm going to try and support this. Well, Greg thanks you, and I thank you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said,
this is the game I've been playing at my table for a long time. So it's like it's going to hit the ground running. If there are any major issues, they were sorted out a long time ago. And my group's always done a lot of experimentation, and they're very willing to. I'm like, okay, this session, can we try this? And they're willing to do that. So, and we hone things down. A lot of collaboration at the table, and I have to thank all my players for that.
Yeah, if you guys have ever ordered the OSR version of any of Greg's Mega Dungeons, yeah, this is kind of this. Well, this is, like the stat blocks and all that. That's what this is. I was trying to figure it out too, because I was running Barrow Maze, and I'm like, I had I think maybe both versions, and I was looking at the OSR version. I'm like, what is he using here? I'm like, it's almost like, basic, but not quite. It's almost like 1E, but not quite. So yeah, you're kind of like right in the middle there. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, good. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was I've always written for that in-between space because that's where my home game was. I wanted the simplified engine of BX, not the engine of AD&D, and then I wanted the Chrome and the magic items and monsters and things of AD&D.
Excellent. Yeah, 118. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being patient with us with all the technical issues earlier. Normally
Canada apologizes.
Yeah. We'll blame Canada, as they say in South
Blame
Park.
Canada.
But yeah, it was well worth it. I knew, I had faith we would be able to connect, and here we are. So hope this is worth it. You guys are getting a really cool preview of the Dragonslayer RPG that Greg has just put the finishing touches on, has sent to the printer, and this will hopefully be in your arms in the next couple months. It is really going to be worth it. We are going to, right now, of course, we do a little kind of comic strips style live play at the end of our streams, usually, if both these guys are here, Crazy Mouse and Rogan. So we happily use Dragonbane from Free League. It's a good, serviceable game, but once we get Dragonslayer in our hands, we will switch it over midstream right to Greg's game. So you will get to see this game played live most live streams. So that'll be some pretty good exposure for you guys to the game. You can see how it plays. We'll happily do that. Let's see here.
Something else there, Double D?
Oh yeah, I got Greg. I got a lot of stuff. If you're willing to show them a few things, I was going through this early.
Let's give the people what they want.
All right, so the spell descriptions. I just wanted to pick a few here. First of all, I love the name Abner's Faithful Hound. It makes me think of Bewitched. Abner, the Stevenses. Abner's Faithful Hound, Abner's Magic Sword. Who's Abner? There's got to be a story there, right?
Those who are very well read in AD&D will know, and I'm not gonna tell you, but let's see if the chat can figure it out.
All right, cool. Yeah, probably people are there. We got some pretty smart people in the chat that are probably much better on the old lore than even I am.
You want to show them one of the spell list, Double E?
Some of the what?
Like one of the spell list pages.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the illusionist.
Let's pick the illusionist. He doesn't get enough love, does he? All right. So obviously, I know with spells you got to be a little careful because you are, of course, as we all know, you're not allowed, to trademark or copyright rule mechanics, but you can certain spell names. So you won't see anything like Bigby here. You'll see things like Abner or something like that instead.
No, you won't see anything that's WotC's. Having said that, I have always in my books included spells and used named spells because it's very Vancian and it's part of the lore of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Now, is this how much of this is, because we all know you're playing D&D, you expect certain spells. Let's be honest here, and I'm sure you're not going to disappoint folks like that.
No, not at all.
Was there any like really like original stuff that you guys have been using in your game that you kind of put in here?
Oh, sure. Yeah. There's all kinds of spells from my home game, and I've taken all the spells from my various mega dungeons and included them in the spell list. So I know that some people are keen on that. So if there's like magic items or spells in my mega dungeons, you'll see them listed in the book, along with a couple new ones that I was keen on, like Zigig's Phantasmal Man Catcher.
Nice. The man catcher. So we got a level 7 spell here, Astral Spell for the Illusionist. Is that
So the spell list is totally alphabetical. It's not divided by classes.
good?
So
that's so good.
Oh, it's so make it so much easier to find anything, and that'll just speed play, right?
Yep. All right, so there's the level 7 spell. Cleric, Illusionist, Magic User. Spell allows a caster to free his or her soul from its corporeality and project astrally on another plane. Yeah, there we go. Bodies of Astral. I don't think I've ever done, maybe in like when we did Planescape back in the day, we used that spell. Doesn't get much love in Birthright, but
well, you really have to be high enough level to go to other planes to use it, so it doesn't see a lot of use.
Yeah. Atonement. Spell absolves the recipient of involuntary evil or past wrongdoing. In order to receive atonement, the subject must be remorseful and truly seek repentance for his or her sins and transgressions. That's perhaps
it's a fun one.
That's like the sort of what you said about Christianity earlier. That sort of has
well,
a very
atonement's
Christian
always
vibe.
Yeah, atonement's always been in the D&D realm. It's part of the core spells.
Baltron's beguiling birdseed. Yeah, there's a little bit of humor in this book too. Yeah, beguiling.
Yeah, there is, and the humor. Some of it's tucked pretty deep, so you'd have to do a pretty close read to pick it up. But when you do, you'll smile, if not laugh out loud.
I like this Baltron dude.
Yeah, Charlotte there. Yeah, Phantasmal Man Catcher sounds like something they used to sell us girls to attract boys.
Well, you know how Gygax was always very fond of his pole arms. So
yeah.
I thought it was appropriate to have a spell that was a pole arm.
All right, so we can see the spells are well taken care of. Let's go.
Oh,
this is
45,000 words in spells alone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, it's always, the biggest part of any sort of player's handbook. But this is like an all-in-one. So this is going to be a pretty big book when you guys get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 300 pages.
Yep. So let's go through some monsters here. I have some pages tagged here, but this is the intro. So you get the standard stat block, and you can kind of see here under the aerial servant how that plays out. Very easy to read. The only thing here you don't see is the attack bonus for the monster, but that is just the hit dice, is it not, Greg?
Say again?
The attack bonus of the creatures, that's the hit dice.
So the monster attacks as a fighter of the same level and hit dice being equal. So if it's a 3 hit die monster, it attacks as a fighter 3rd level.
3rd level. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. So it's nice and easy that way, and the save will also be the same. So if it's a 3 hit die monster, it'll save as a level 3 fighter.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. And of course, if anybody's using, Greg has an open license for this. If
so that makes the fights fair. Like,
it favors
it
favors the monsters because not everybody in the party is going to be a fighter.
Oh yeah,
right. So you really have to be choosy about when you want to fight. So one of the things that I note in the game is that players control when, for the most part, they control when the referee rolls dice. So, and as soon as you let me roll dice, I'm gonna try to kill you. So you want to keep dice out of my hands. But players don't often think in those terms, and so I encourage them to do so at various points in the rulebook.
Yeah, we'll get later. I tagged one of the things, kind of your tenets or your sage advice. We'll get there as to kind of the general underpinning of the game. But for now, let's look at a few more monsters. Yeah, so that's just the stat block there, nice and easy. Like I said, Greg does give you, for anybody writing something, he gives you the quick stat block format, easy peasy. That's what I mean about the artwork, guys. Like, this is like first edition monster manual stuff, like right here. This is just so beautiful. 1 second here. Get this super chat. Hungar. Oh, good to see you, Hungar. How you doing? Hungar is my favorite YouTuber. Well, he's right up there for me too. Good to see you again, Hungar. Thank you so much for the donation. If you guys can, please subscribe to Hungar's channel. Good dude. DM James's brother. Orcus and Juiblex. How do you pronounce Juiblex? I never knew that. How do you pronounce it, Greg?
Juiblex is how I would go for it. Yeah.
Juiblex.
Yes, it has rock grubs. Forget chat.
But I think Orcus there.
I have to highlight, this is Ken and James. So, he's, I've said, he's the Dave Trampier of the OSR. He is insanely talented, and we've developed a really good friendship and relationship going back and forth with art. And I just really appreciate him, and wanted to, point out that this is his work.
I mean, they're both great, but I can't get over that Orcus picture.
It'd make a good tattoo.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that is so beautiful.
Now, the demons and devils section, it's a guilty pleasure because, how often are you going to run into a demon or devil? I mean, you could play for 10 years and not run into one. So it's pretty awesome. But so I wanted, and it's part of the heart of AD&D, right? To flip through and see the demons and the devils.
I guess I didn't. So I guess they must have the name Demogorgon, I think. Looks like.
Yes, they do.
Yep. So we have your head demon lord there. It's a two-headed monkey. I think we all kind of understand what that is. And then Liloth, I think we all know who she is. Again, though, that picture.
Arachne.
Yeah. Arachne. Also called Liloth. I think we can all we all get that. But again, just look at that art. Holy shit. The thing is, like, this is a whole pretty much like first edition monster manual in these pages. And would you say every monster has a picture, Greg?
Oh, they all do. I wouldn't do. They all have, all the main entries. So, for example, I might have with the giant spider, I've got like the giant tarantula, which is the core, and I've got some sub listings. But every entry has an illustration. Yeah.
And that's just not something you see these days.
Well, it's something that people should be accustomed to with my mega dungeons. I don't chintz out on stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk for a moment on the importance of art and inspiration. You did a dissertation on Goodman Games, back in the day, when they were just kind of releasing modules or adventures for, I believe, 3rd edition. And hold on 1 second. Let me grab this chat here from our friend Chris Miller. Thank you. Greg, the book looks great. Thank you for standing up for your principles and giving us a cool alternative to the woke trash being pushed on us. You're a hero, man. I agree 100%.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And I will definitely hold up our end of things. And, we deserve to have cool stuff too, with high production value and awesome art, something that you'll feel you want to pick up, something you want to flip through, something you get excited about. And if I'm excited about it, then I hope everyone's excited about it too.
Yep. I was saying you did this dissertation kind of on Goodman Games back in the day, as an actual like academic one, and in the midst of it, you were kind of mentioning just how important the art was in early D&D. You know, guys like Earl Otis, folks like that, in sort of setting the tone. How important were they? I don't want to say were they just as important as Gary Gygax, because obviously, you know, and of course Dave Arneson. Nothing would have been done without those guys. But if you didn't have some of these pictures, you know, like from the monster manual and all that, how, like, if it was just a page of like blank text, it would not be as inspiring, you know, to that generation of kids that we were, you know, as it was.
Right. I mean, especially young boys were visual learners. You know, 90% of us are visual learners. So, I mean, you might read that text and, well, all right, that seems neat, but your eye hits the art and you're like, wow, that is cool. And that's the gateway drug to get into the text. And then all of a sudden you get into the text, and then you're hit with all this high Gygaxian language, and you have to get the dictionary out to figure out what the heck he's trying to say. And then that's an entry into literacy. And then it's also an entry into medieval history. And I think most of us went down that road, you know, at that time. So it was the art's the gateway drug, and then after that you're into the text and all the depth that Gygax had in his prose, and then the history of it and everything else.
Yeah, one thing you noted too in those old, like especially the Earl Otis ones, in a lot of his artwork, it wasn't like these huge Conan-esque like warriors. It was kind of like, you know, maybe like skinny guys or just regular Joes that had to go up against these monsters. So explain how that kind of puts you into the character.
Sure. So, for example, if we compare AD&D art to 4th edition art, so in AD&D art, you see all these. Most of the men are bearded. They're rough looking. It looks like it's in a medieval fantasy setting. And then when you get the cover art, you rarely saw Arnold Schwarzenegger-esque style heroes. They were not buff. They didn't look like they just walked out of Gold's Gym. And the point was, you see these weak-kneed, weak-armed warriors, and that allowed us an entry point, because who was super buff when they were 14 or whatever? And then you see yourself through that window of suspended animation. And you can say, oh yeah, like, remember we played a game and we were attacked from behind, and that's pretty much what it looked like. And then you just all have a laugh, and you could see yourself as the protagonist in the illustrations. And I think that's what was really important at that time. I think it's still important now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me go to a couple more here. I had tagged that I thought were kind of cool. We don't want to give everything away here, but here we got the Manticore and the Medusa. Like I said, just very, very inspiring artwork.
Very classic, but at the same time, just, you know,
yeah,
just awesome.
Yep, absolutely.
So that the Manticore was done by Jan Levy, and so he's in France, so we had to work through a bit of a language barrier, but we got there, and I waited for him, and it worked out pretty well.
What is the process when you're working with an artist? Do you say like, all right, hey, I have these monsters, you know, give me, you know, I want them in this pose, or do you just kind of say like, these monsters, you have a carte blanche? Do you give them any sort of instruction?
Yes, I do. So I know exactly what I want in my mind's eye, and that is inspired from past art. It's inspired from film. It's inspired from TV. It's inspired from other sources. And so what I do normally is I will put a brief together with samples, illustrations, to at least get us in the same ballpark. And I'll say, I like the tail here. I like the wings here. I want a more ferocious look to it. And then I'll send that to the artist. And so then it's a question of, if I've selected that artist, they have the skill set, And then it's from there, it's do they know the material? Like, did they play D&D back in the day? Do they know what a manticore is? And most of the time, I prefer to work with people that do. But it is nice. I've worked with people that really have no background in D&D at all, and I have to coach them up. And that's part of the extra stuff that goes into this that no one ever really sees and no one ever really asks me about. And it is really central to it.
All right, so this is kind of just, of course, a full page piece of art.
That's the picture we saw before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to highlight it again. And this is, of course, based off of a real picture you took, right?
Yeah. So this is based from, I was in an 11th century Norman castle with a very narrow staircase down. So I took a photograph and then I used that photograph as the basis for what I wanted. And then that gets you a starter.
I don't want to go down those stairs.
Yeah, that's crazy. As Crazy Mouse said, yeah, those eyes down there, it's just perfect. That's all you need.
And I wanted the torchlight in the first couple feet, so it's more illuminated at the top and descending into the darkness, and then those eyes peering back at you.
I mean, the freakiest thing is just if you could somehow get across, like you see these eyes for a moment, they blink shut, and then they're gone, and it's like, oh man, what is down there?
Yeah,
a lot of
right. And the thing is, you don't actually see the monster, but it fires the imagination. Well, what the heck is that? What's it doing down there? And then, well, I don't want to go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of DMs would be, like, all right, it attacks you right at the bottom of the stairs. It's like, no, you gotta put it a little further in, make them work for it. Let's see. I think I had one more I want to show here in this section of the book. Yeah, basically just the troglodyte, the troll, and the unicorn. You could see, the standard monsters are here, of course. Like I said, this is a whole 1E monster manual tucked into these pages.
Yeah, that section was 45,000 words as well. And the unicorn was done by Peter Pagano, and so I owe him a great debt because I come up with these great visions of what I want, which is kind of like pie in the sky. It's like, well, what's the coolest possible thing we could do? And then I go to Peter, and he's like, oh, geez. And he starts like, well, yeah, we could probably do that. And so I put a lot on him, and he's such a tremendous person, and he's such a talented artist. And, it makes me shake my fist at these artists because they're so darn talented. And Peter always comes through, and he's just a joy.
You wonder why, I wonder why Wizards of the Coast isn't using them all that often, or Paizo or that. I'm assuming they're not working for either of those main two. They should be. Well,
they're not, but they are definitely very talented, and I'm happy to have them. Very fortunate.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least, this is better art than you're going to find. People, I think, get bamboozled, by, oh my God, look at all this full color art, in Wizards of the Coast. It's a lot of it is just garbage or inappropriate. I don't want to say it's garbage, but it's totally inappropriate. This is what everybody thinks of with D&D. The old magic item, lots of potions. Let's see here. Go to Staff of Withering, of course. The Staff of Azul, I recognize that from Barrow Maze, right?
Yep.
I don't think you guys got a piece of that. One last one here. Magic weapons.
Maze of Disruption.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's a new artist I work with. And Tom Rogers, he's very, very good as well. And he didn't really have a background in D&D, but he did have a background in love for Lord of the Rings. So it was just kind of an extension, taking what he knew from Lord of the Rings and extrapolating backwards towards D&D.
Of course, combat's the heart of any game. we may have gone through this before, but very simple. Declare your spells, roll initiative, and initiative is just die 6 in this game.
Mhm.
Then the winners go and the losers go per side. So we have group initiative. And you and I were talking about this, Greg. You can, on the bottom of your character sheet, you can print out your attack versus every armor class. And because there's not much of a power curve in this game, that's pretty reliable for more than a couple levels, correct?
Oh yeah, so you're not really changing them until the fighter hits 4th level. So you don't have to worry about adding, subtracting. You just look at the bottom of your character sheet, roll your dice, add your strength or your dexterity, whatever it may be, and away you go.
Now for there's also something called you say it here, target 20. Can you explain what that is and who it's for?
Yeah, so oftentimes when I'm playing, just to speed my own process, I'll do target 20 up to about level 5 or so or 6, and then it's just you roll a d20 and you add the armor class and the hit dice, and then if you hit 20 or higher, it's a hit. And it's just an alternative algorithm, but it's super simple and speeds play on my end. So I'm big on anything that speeds play. Having said that, the math will get a little wonky at higher levels. So after level 5 or 6, I'd be going to like target 21. So it's not as true to the mechanic as if you used a standard attack matrices. So just be aware that that information on target 20 is out there and people can look at it, and if they want to use it, they can.
Yeah, so a couple different ways to skin the cat. So
That's
you don't need to be fearful of oh my God, it's Thaco or anything like that. Very, very easy to work with here. This is just a real callback. This is Greg just kind of gives you the bare bones here. Some good solid a good solid framework, and I'm sure you can add things to it. You get the bonuses here that you would always get, for flanking and, charging, coup de grace.
So one of the things I mentioned is that, and it references this page, is that because the equivalent of like an attack bonus is so low, there are bonuses to be had in tactical play, but players have to work for those. And the other thing is that once you, it'll also give, so for example, just to put a bow on that, if you're diametrically opposite in, you can get a flanking bonus. If you're on high ground, you get a bonus. If you trip prone, you get a bonus. And then, so there are all those ways to get some additional bonuses. So, and then if you get closer using your melee weapons, there's a point blank range bonus. And it's, everything in early D&D is a double-edged sword, right? So you can get the bonus by getting closer and using your missile weapon. However, you're also putting yourself closer to the enemy. So it's a situation, do you really want to do that? Say if you're a magic user or illusionist or something like that, and you have choices to make.
I really like that. It's almost like you would need to detox from about 23 years, probably since 3rd edition, where, they kind of gave players a lot of stuff to deal with and, more and more bonuses and all that. I really like this sort of stripped down, like, okay, you're basically just going in, bare bones as far as bonuses. But like you said, now all of a sudden it changes your mindset. You're starting to think more tactically. Yeah. Like, man, we could really use a +2 or, a +1 here. Let's go up there. Let's see if we can get a little bit of high ground. Let's see if you two can flank them and, stay there.
That's right. And what that does is it gets players to play to their character role, right? So you definitely in this game, because of the ability that fighters have to kill a target and get a second attack, it's really crucial that you soften with missile weapons first, or do whatever you can, soften things up, then let your fighters go in. And now that they're, you've wounded a few targets, you can just go bam, bam, and knock them down. So it plays very well if you know your class and you know the role that class plays in the larger group, and then you play to it.
Yep. Really, really cool. I like that you do miniatures too, that you're not afraid of them. So many people are just like, oh, I'm theater of the mind all the way, and that's fine. But I don't, we've always liked using minis or, tokens or whatever.
Yeah, well, I totally do. We do miniatures, and then if I don't have the time, we just do theater of the mind, and we seamlessly go back and forth, and no one really, says anything one way or the other.
Yeah, I like occasionally, just doing the theater of the mind too. Like I said, it's doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both.
That's right.
Saving throws here. Everybody remembers these. The old breath, death, stone wand spell. Mm-hmm. And you're going to want to roll over these, right? High roll.
That's right.
All right, so.
Notice the 1 on the D20?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, done that.
Oh yeah. See, anybody else would have been like, oh, let's put a 20 there.
See, like that kind of stuff is very purposeful. So if you're looking, I'm putting like things in there, but you got to be looking.
Lots of Easter eggs is what you're saying here, huh?
Oh, there's always layers. It's like a Simpsons episode.
Yep. Got a 120 here, guys. Thank you so much. You guys are killing it lately. If you can, go ahead and hit that like button. That'll help this live stream get seen. It'll help Greg's exposure. Help us all. Yep. You got a little part here about making, dungeon rooms, obviously for DMs and stuff, some tables.
Yeah, there's just a generator there. So you have to, I want everybody to understand, I know everybody here has, has probably played decades worth of D&D, but so the book will satisfy the itch that all the veteran players have, but it also has to be written in a way to hit the new person that picks it up for the first time. So, there's, that's why I have this generator in there. This is based off the random barrow mound generator for barrow maze. And so if you have to think of it, well, if you've never generated a dungeon ever, it would be nice to have a little bit of a methodical, systematic process to be able to do that. And so if a young person picks this up, they'll know what to do.
I do like that you're writing for, you always got to assume somebody new is coming in. I think that gets lost on so many people. But you always have to assume there's somebody's exploring this for the first time. Make it easy on them. Veterans won't care.
We're not going to care. Yeah.
All right, let's getting towards the end here.
We should be speaking. Oh, just to jump in there, we should be speaking to that, right? If you have this book on your coffee table and your 11-year-old picks it up and like, well, what's this all about? And there needs to be a process to teach them how to do what they do.
I kind of like the layout too, where you put things, and I'm sure with everything you do, is purposeful. But like that combat chapter, that's tucked way towards the back. It was on like page 250. Most books nowadays, it would be like character creation, boom, spells or something, boom, and then combat like right there. I kind of like that it's just kind of tucked, because it kind of reminds me of going through books, back when they didn't always do that,
Well, so what I've done here, just so everybody knows, is this book is laid out so that as soon as you hit every section is like a 2-page layout. So things will start on the left-hand page. Full page illustrations are going to be on the right-hand page. And when things get laid out, it's going to minimize page flipping. Will there always be page flipping in RPGs? Yes, of course. But there's a lot of forethought into this layout. And you'll be able to consult things without flipping any more pages than absolutely necessary. And the other part too is we need, not only are we thinking of the veteran player and the new player, but we're also thinking of the player versus the referee, right? And so the player doesn't need, that's playing for the first time, doesn't need access to combat. They don't need access to those other things. So those can go in the back where the the person running the game can consult those and take it from there.
Just want to take a step back here. As we're going through this, Overkill Joe, any thoughts on a solo version or any rules hints? Do you ever do solo play, Greg, or do you ever write anything for solo play?
I don't, but I've had interest from people that are looking forward to using the third-party license to create solo adventures. So that's not my bag, but if someone wants to do that, they can definitely do that.
Yeah, good question, Joe. Let's see here. Zytek, glad he's back in this. Good to see you.
Good.
Yep.
Cheers.
Yep. Picture's badass. I think they're talking about this one right here with the looks like a bunch of gnolls, right?
Yeah, it's a two-parter. So this is the left-hand side of the page, and if you go down to the next one, you'll see the right-hand side of the page.
Oh man, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna look so cool laid out. Damn, I don't know how you. This is D&D, like these interior pictures like this. To me, this is what it is, and it's one of those things. I think either you kind of get, or maybe you don't. And I wonder if it's just age related, or if maybe even somebody new, a little younger and newer, kind of feels the same way.
Well, I think so. You hit the thing is, and one of the you're speaking about that essay I wrote about Goodman Games. Like one of the things that the early artists did well, Rosloff and Holloway and Otis, they played the game and they depicted situations that we would often find ourselves. So if you play D&D, you've been surrounded at one point in time. You've been attacked from behind at one point in time. You've been attacked from above. Whatever the situation may be, and things have got hairy, and then of course it's part of the lore of your gaming group, and you laugh with your buddies about it 10 years later. So when I like to depict situations in the game that we've all found ourselves, and we can relate to those, especially when you have archetypal characters.
Yep.
I've had a few characters that could relate to these two pictures.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, lest we forget, one of Rogan's cherished characters bought it in the barrow maze.
Hey, that's a coming of age right there. Boom.
Oh yes, it was. Troll, right?
Let's see. No, I think maybe. Yeah. I'm trying to think. You guys were talking outside of a door. And I kind of rolled. I'm like, all right, these guys heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were like, they were making the mistake of doing their plan within earshot of folks that might be on the other side of the door. So I think that put them off foot right away. And yeah, the fight just didn't go well. And I'll give Rogan credit, with his characters, at least the ones he used to do. He would always step up, and he wanted to be like right in there. Yeah, it just did not work out.
But the rest survived.
Yes, that's right. It was not a meaningless death. Sage advice.
Yeah, so this is in the appendices. So, I use a more casual tone, and I'm also using a fair amount of humor. So, we're outside the regular confines of the rules and spells and monsters. And this is, again, to try to both entertain and communicate a little bit of wisdom about how to play the game that isn't in the rules. Because oftentimes with RPGs, it's not the stuff that's in the rules that really teaches you how to play. It's actually the sage advice you learn from other people who have played for a long time, or maybe an older brother or sister or whatever. And so these are things that might be self-evident to us, but may not be to somebody that's coming to the game for the first time.
So some of these are really to have it stated openly. It's refreshing. I mean, I'm looking here, cheap touchdowns.
Yeah, I was reading that as well. Yeah.
Did you see that crazy mouse? Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Don't
go ahead and read it so people will know what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't give the maze controller cheap touchdowns. Never take needless chances in the last 20 minutes of a game session. Just get out alive.
Yeah. I love me some cheap touchdowns.
Yeah, well, who doesn't? Meat shields, use retainers. Buy them new equipment to improve their morale. Keep them alive and see them advance in level and skill so they can die for you.
Right.
Makes sense.
There was something else I was looking at here too. So some of these are really, really good.
I like
all
that.
adventures are created equal.
Yeah. What was that, Rogan?
I'm going to say, never split the party. I think that comes up often. Why don't we split up? Why don't we split up? Nah, I don't think it's a good idea.
The DM always wants that because it's thematic and it's fun. It's fun for him or her, I guess. Yeah, divide and conquer, I guess, on our end. So it does point to the fact, and we may have touched on this before. To get experience points in this game, do you have to kill a lot of monsters, Greg, or do you have to do something else?
No, you want to loot. So experience is 1-to-1, as it should be for gold pieces. So every gold piece is 1 experience point. And then, but it's only about 10-to-1 for monsters. So now, this is the thing that Wizards really buggered. As soon as you change how you deliver experience points, now you completely change the nature of Dungeons and Dragons. So you want to lie, connive, cheat, do whatever you have to do to sneak by the monsters, steal their stuff, and get out. And if you can do that without fighting, you win. So it's really all about the loot. Now, sometimes you have to battle, of course, we all enjoy that, but at the same time, it's all about the gold pieces because it's 1-to-1 to experience.
Yep, refreshing. That's old school, people. Well, this is about the end of the book. There's only about 10 more pages, so it was a good way. Well, you know what? I think there is one other thing. We may have talked about it already, though, and that's you actually give rules for carousing here, which I think we went over before. I always thought that was kind of funny. Yep, streaking through the quad. You go on a bender and streak through an upper class district, insulting a local person of rank. A successful charisma check indicates the individual is amenable to some sort of apology and reparations.
So the art here, I had a very specific art brief for this one. So I wanted this kind of like burly fighter type who's winking at you, breaking the fourth wall while the tavern's up in flames and everyone's running helter-skelter. That's never happened in D&D, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I love the breaking of the fourth wall. Oh man! All right, let's go back to this one. What'd you think, Crazy Mouse? Did you like the way that
Chris
looked?
Miller just said what I actually just was thinking. It's Gaston. That's the person I exactly thought of.
Oh, Gaston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does have that kind of vibe. I like it. Well, chat, what do you guys think? I saw some pretty good comments. I think we have already some backers, but hopefully you've made a few
All
more
right.
fans.
People want to see the map. Do you want me to preview that?
I'm sorry, the what?
So the next project will be the campaign map in which all the mega dungeons are set, and the gazetteer. Should we preview that? Got to give the people what they want. Look at this. All right. Yeah. So I've got the draft. This is 34 by 34, so it's quite large.
Oh man.
Make sure I don't get caught up in cords here. Here you go. So you can get this square to the camera. This way. There we are.
That way, yeah. Oh, wow.
That is sweet.
Sorry.
Yep, to your right. Oh, perfect. Holy smokes.
That looks like a person. There's the arm and an arm.
Oh, yeah.
There was a head
Yep.
there.
Yeah. That's
So
beautiful.
all my mega dungeons are set in this map.
That's essentially your campaign world, huh?
Yeah, that's my campaign world. So it's I'm pretty excited about it. We did this last winter and early in the winter, and so this is the project I wanted to save to the end of the last two mega dungeons, but people are clamoring, so I think I need to get this done. And the map's it's done. It's all set to go. So I'll take a break on the other side of Dragonslayer, and then I'll start pecking away at finishing the Gazetteer.
Sweet. Now, who did the map for you? Who did the actual map?
Glenn Seal.
Okay.
So he's an English guy, and very talented and so patient. And I'm very thankful to him for because I was. It's my baby, right? So I was a bit micromanagey with the map because it had to be just so. And so, he's very kind and very generous with his time. And I'm very thankful that he was willing to work with me.
Well, it definitely looks like it was worth the wait. Excellent. Sandwich tried to back it on Kickstarter, but it won't let me. Yeah, he had to close it down. But
That's
we
right.
said this earlier. We'll happily say it again. This will be on drive-through pretty soon, but if you want to get to kind of the head of the line, just email Greg, and I have his email in the description of the video, the Barrow Maze email. You guys can just work it out. Obviously Greg will take care of you. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do. If you want to get it as quickly as possible, or if not, just set a reminder in about a month or so. And it should be at Drive-Thru RPG sometime. We're hoping in January, right, Greg?
Oh, definitely by the end of January. But again, it's all on drive-through to get through their backlog. But there are always people that add late, and even people that have they've supported me for like a decade. Even they'll like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know you were running a Kickstarter. So they'll add late, and I have no problem. I can sort you out for sure. Just reach out by email.
Yeah. So I hope you guys saw there's a lot of love that that went into this. The artwork is astounding and inspirational. And let's face it, I mean, a lot of times it is just the artwork that gets you to just pick up the book that you probably already know pretty well and just look for different things, that maybe you didn't catch. So yeah, Greg did not skimp on the artwork. Not at all.
No, nor on that map. So the map it'll have like a DM version with all the labels. It'll have a player version with no labels and hexed, and then it'll have a version with no labels and no hexes. Excellent.
I can't wait. I'm working on my adventure right now, and that's why you were kind enough to send this to me, because I'm gonna do it for Dragonslayer first. I might do something else. Another version. Hold on, looks like we have a super chat here. Sandwich, $10. Thank you, Sandwich. $10. Does the infamous vampiric regeneration ring return in Dragonslayer?
There is a regeneration ring, but I don't have the vampiric one. However, having said that, there are a lot of cursed items though. So that should keep the people happy.
Excellent. Thank you, Sandwich, very much. $10 super chat. Yeah, but I've been just kind of banging away on my adventure. I'm hoping to get a lot of it done by the end of the year. I won't be completely done, of course, but hopefully I get most of the writing done. And just kind of going through the PDF. It was a real inspiration. It's easy to work with too, like with the stat blocks for your monsters and all that. It's just kind of a joy to go through. I don't know what you would do if, I don't know, like 5th edition, writing an adventure for that. That would be kind of a slog in my book. But
Yeah, I won't support any Wizards of the Coast edition again until they pull their head out of ours.
Yeah, same here. I was there will not be a fifth edition. At best, maybe I'll do like a Shadow Dark version of it. That's about as close to fifth edition as I'll get. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see them pulling their head out of their butt for a long time.
No, they're doubling down, right?
Yeah, it's remarkable.
Ryan asks what you did to fix the thief class.
The thief is so you have to understand that I'm not a huge thief fan. I'm even less a fan of the assassin, but I've addressed the percentages for success for thief skills, and that'll help. So they can actually hide in shadows and actually backstab. But other than that, I didn't even allow thieves in my game for a long time, just because the thief represents a turning point from qualitative mechanics to quantitative mechanics. And one of the other things I address under the thief class is that you're obligated to you only use a dice roll at the last moment, because most thief skills can be qualitatively addressed with the referee. There doesn't need to be a dice roll. And quite honestly, when I play with people at conventions and whatnot, I always do things qualitatively. Thieves never roll dice.
Oh, really?
There's no need. Because if you have the mechanism of action for a trap, and the player takes the time to parse out and to observe and to investigate, and what that mechanism of activation is going to be, tripwire or whatever, or pressure plate or whatever it may be, then you don't need the dice rolling. So I discourage the dice rolling when it comes to thief skills, personally.
I think that caught Crazy Mouse's attention because he's the party thief usually.
Yeah, I usually play a thief. I've strayed from it a couple times, but I've always liked playing one.
Likes to sneak up.
So I don't. Somebody mentioned in the chat there that no thieves. Yes, there are thieves. The assassin as well. I'm just not a fan of those two classes in particular.
At the end, Double D wasn't a fan of thieves either.
well, fifth edition, it's almost like you gotta put anybody after and detox, because it's I get this, it seemed like they were always getting the sneak attack bonus, and man, you give a good magic weapon or two and someone who knows how to play a thief strategically, like Crazy Mouse does, all of a sudden I'm looking at 80 points of damage on one roll, and I'm like, this is insane. I'm like,
I really just like the name Rogue. I really do. I much prefer Thief. Thief is it's got more texture, it's got more charm. I like it way better.
Yeah, for sure. To me, it's also I don't know, when they did Mage for the Wizard. I don't know. I guess I kind of prefer Wizard. If you let's see here, whoops. Fifth edition. Whoops. A couple of thieves in my time didn't end well either.
All my thieves have died. Every one of them. Well, Brosen is still alive.
Yeah, Brosen is still alive.
I've played 5 thieves. Kez, Calvin. I've played 5 thieves, and 4 of them have died.
Kez, Calvin,
and the only one, Isaac and Linus. The only one that lived, it was actually just a character that retired because it didn't make sense for him to travel with the party anymore.
He took your advice, Greg. He said, "You know what? I have enough gold. I'm just gonna have my hot wife pump out a bunch of kids, a bunch of future characters."
Yes, I have a future thief in the back.
He's got a whole brood of
hey, I had to roll
thieves.
for that. That was a 50-50 shot. He could have
That's
been
true.
a girl, so I might have been playing a woman in the next campaign.
Yeah, I did make him roll. I'm like, boy or girl. But yeah, She had a boy. We used to refer to D&D as hand wavers and hacks. Says World Bigfoot Radio. Good to see you, sir. Adino.
Greg, I got to make a shout out to your shirt there. Yeah, Barrel Maze a la Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
The carryover between D&D and heavy metal has always been fascinating to me. So normally, if I have a magic user casting a spell, they're normally given the devil horns as they're making their hand gestures. And that's just a little tip of the cap to the heavy metal fans out there.
Amen. Amen.
It's like the Elric in the Deities and Demigods,
Yep.
Crazy Mouse,
Yep.
putting the horns up.
I was going to ask about, I didn't want to blindside Greg in case the answer is no, but are there vulture lions in your monster manual?
Vulture.
There are no vulture lions. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Those were in Deities and Demigods, and they killed one in a campaign, and they used its hide for armor.
Oh, yeah.
So would those be like vians or would they be lulchers?
They were lions with like the beak and everything.
Vians or Lulchers.
Vians
I like that.
Mrs. D is always, because I'm always saying, I said, we need a name, because we already have brunch between breakfast and lunch. I said, we need one between lunch and dinner. So I either say it's either Linner or Dunch. She always shakes her head and says, you're retarded. So, yeah, probably. Just trying to see.
The Lion
here.
Vulture was pretty cool. I always said.
Yeah, vulture lions. They were. Yep, puppy looked confused. Did you confuse the puppy there, Greg?
He's good. He's just looking for attention.
All right. There's one other thing I wanted to get your attention on. James Raggi, the man behind Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Good guy, right? I think you said you've met him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I met him 2 times. So the first time when I was teaching my History and Culture of RPGs course, I had a few people from the industry video conference with my class, and he graciously did that. And he's over in Europe, so there was a big time difference, but he did that, and I really appreciated it. And then I saw him at North Texas RPG Con in June.
Definitely a guy on our side. Lamentations of the Flame Princess is a good, solid game. And he kind of made a video on something that I guess we covered, a lot of folks covered, and it's about the stealth language changes in that Wizards of the Coast was ramming through. So I figured maybe, hopefully, if we can do this technically, it should work. I tried it out with Mrs. D last night. So give me a moment here. I'm going to switch this, and then I got to stop sharing one thing for a moment, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And let me something else here. Okay. See if we got I think we're good. All right, so you're gonna have to let me know, Greg, if you can hear this. Can you hear that?
Yeah, a little echo, but I can hear it.
Okay. All right. So this is James Raggi's view on the changes. Let's see what he has to say. We'll stop it, and we'll get when you want to opine, just throw in.
Books.
Double
I
D.
don't
Yep,
know
yep.
if they're also.
You guys should be able to hear this.
They can't,
No.
I don't think.
There should be no response to them other than, "You didn't watch the video. You didn't." So let's get to it then. Wizards of the Coast has been stealth editing electronic versions of the 2014 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons core books. I don't know if they're also editing newer printings of the actual books, but since they declared they'd do such things in 2020's Diversity and Dungeons & Dragons article, it would make sense to assume so.
All right, are you hearing that, Greg?
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Okay.
But
Do you want to go to the
before we
14-minute mark?
Yeah,
Basically,
let's,
60 seconds before he goes off the rails, there was an interesting
yeah.
comment.
Yeah, so
So
he just
just a minute from about 14 to 15.
I'll go 1325 because he says some things at 1320, I think, that you have always kind of said. So let this play out and then tell me when you want me to stop it.
Will do.
But you can't make something timeless with this mindset, this way of approaching language. You're always going to date it. Always. I mean, look at the Alpha Stream post. A few times it's explicit in talking about keeping up on the latest practices, the newest approaches, the most up-to-date, sensitive, and inclusive language, because it changes constantly. One reason it changes constantly is the euphemism treadmill. If you're not familiar with this concept, Doug Stanhope did a brilliant bit about it in his 2016 special, No Place Like Home. I've linked that bit. It's in a video titled Using the Term Retarded, and that's linked in the description. So by design, this entire endeavor will only create something so utterly here and now in presentation and language in an attempt to speak to who and how people are today, as in the past 24 hours, in service of a game where you play someone that's not you in a world that you don't live in.
Okay, right there.
All right, so you had an issue with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's two things. So he's bang on when he's talking about how serving contemporary politically correct language will lock your book in to a very specific moment in time. And that's not wise, because he's right. The left is constantly engaging in language politics. And what's good today was not good yesterday, and it won't be good tomorrow. So it's a very foolish way to go about literature. You can do that on social media, but you don't use that approach when it comes to literature. Now, if they intend on banging out rule books much more regularly, then it won't matter. But I think they'll just alienate people if they do further. So that's the first issue. And I've spoken about this a few times. I can elaborate if people want me to. The other issue is when he says playing a game when it's not you in a world you've never been. And so that assumes, if I understand him correctly, that he sees a very clear fantasy reality divide. And I don't. They're absolutely integrated. Just because you're playing a game does not mean you stop being you. And I think his point about contemporary language serves my argument. It's that we have all this presentist stuff being inserted into fantasy games that demonstrates you can't, all of a sudden go from being Greg Gillespie to playing Lothar of the Hill People and not be connected to Greg Gillespie in any way, shape, or form. And so everything's tied. The fantasy reality divide doesn't exist. And I think his previous argument undercuts what he's saying right here. And I say this, I like James, I just say this gently and as a friend, that if I understand him correctly, it's not logically correct.
Yeah, I see what you're saying too. I don't know. It seems like there always is like a connection between a person and who they're playing. I mean, look, I can tell, somebody's, maybe had a bad time or is going through a rough time just by how they're playing their character at my table. I don't think you can separate the two much at all.
Well, let me tell you about this groovy 1960s TV show where they had personal communicators and spaceships and lasers. And they had computers that would fit on a desk. And what we do is we imagine these things in the pages of fantasy and science fiction, and then we, in time, make them into our reality. We also do the reverse, right? So another example would be the whole notion of NASA dropping astronauts into the ocean is something that it wasn't some great idea they came up with. It was in the pages of science fiction, and then they poached it from science fiction and we'll just land the astronauts in the ocean. So the interconnect, fantasy and reality are interdependent. They're not separate. And if you want to go the other direction from reality to fantasy, we play social roles every day. But we're so normalized to it, we don't think about it. So you might play the role of husband or wife. You might play the role of brother or sister. You may play the role of employee. You may play the role of band member or whatever, additional roles you play. And we don't think about how as adults, we don't think of how those roles change in the span of a day, but they do. So just because you sit down at a table and you say, I'm going to play Conan the Barbarian, that's just another role, right?
Yep.
So it's important that we think of these, they're interdependent, these things. And anytime you see or hear of a oversimplified binary, you should question that. And I know people just say, okay, well, fantasy is fantasy and reality is reality, and they're not and they're completely separate. That's just not correct.
Yeah, I mean, I know at our table, the players, maybe the chat has a similar experience. These guys have like keystone characters that, yeah, they were part of the table, but they're almost part of them, like Todd's, first thief that he always talks about, Kez, that's almost become part of his life now, but part of his reality. We reminisce about, the Kez, and, Jim's had a couple, Gil especially, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. These things, I don't know. It's more than just, oh, this is just, something I do at the table, on Friday nights. Now, obviously, you don't, it doesn't have to be like Mazes and Monsters. You don't have to go to New York and start trying to cast spells and all that. But I don't know. I've always felt that the game table is kind of a good indicator. If you're gaming with friends, like I said, it's a good kind of barometer on how folks are doing, with kind of how they're acting at the table. It is a social endeavor after all. I mean,
well, I always felt as though for your character, we become invested in them, and it made Friday nights more fun and invigorating. And this was actually a question I had for Greg probably about 5 months ago, but I didn't ask him. Because your campaign there's so many deaths, and you've made the comment before that there's times like you have so many people in your group, but on certain weeks, certain people don't come. Do they not come because they're not as invested in their characters because they're always dying?
No, just a question of what you have going on. So the group I have, we've got empty nesters, we've got people with young kids, and they're single dudes, and so it's a big mix, and it's just a question of schedules. Mm-hmm. So
that was one thing I wanted to ask, because in Double D's campaign, when we pick up the next time, I will be rolling up my third character if I said 8 sessions, it's probably pretty accurate. Well,
Keep in mind, the one was retired. It wasn't.
Still, I'm not playing him anymore.
Yeah.
Then I had to get a new guy, and he died, and will be rolling up a new guy. So I'm not as invested in these characters because they're not ones. There's no time invested in them yet. So that's one thing that I enjoyed, the characters that have lasted so long, and they do become part of you because you've played them for years and years and years. That's it.
Well, that's true. It's nice to be able to play those characters. Having said that, if Dungeon Masters don't kill players, players kill players, and they do it for
I agree with that. Sometimes your companions kill your players.
Bad strategy kills you. Yeah, that's what happened to his last one.
My last character was everyone abandoned me as I was going to help them. You can catch that on the live play.
Yeah. It was one of those things you ever see in the movies where they say, all right, everybody who's a party to this, take one step forward, and then the one guy thinks that everybody's going to be with him, and he steps forward proudly, and he realizes like he turns around and like nobody's with him. That's essentially like what happened with his last character. He stepped up to fight this horrible beast.
Well, my friends were getting crushed by him. So my guy went to go help them, and then they all fled. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So.
I will say this. He did have a premonition. He said, this is not good.
This is not good.
As soon as he saw what was going on, he's like, this is not going to be good.
All right, I come in to help. Okay, who's next? And I leave. Who's next? I leave. Who's next? I leave. It's like, you guys are jackasses.
And as DMs, look, we have a... We must uphold the code, and
I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Yeah. But again, the reason I probably was okay with it is I had that character for 3 sessions. It was not a big deal. Yeah. If that had been one of my lifelong characters, I've been like, you guys are freaking idiots.
Well, I think that's where Greg's style for like this game, I suppose if you could transfer it over to any game, just modify, just avoid contact with the enemy and steal as much gold as you can, right?
Yeah, there are no sacred cows. And if you played, that's the thing. Like if you played a character for a long time, but you're going to give me a cheap touchdown within 20 minutes of the end of the game session, I didn't make that choice. You made that choice. And so, players need to take responsibility for that. You should get more cautious when you're in the last bit of the game session, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I agree. Every death that each of my characters have ever had is exactly that. It was a part of a decision made. And every single time I could look back and inside my head, I'm like, I knew that was the wrong. It was the wrong.
I knew it was the bad thing to do.
I knew that. Like, part of me knew that was the wrong thing to do, but you're absolutely right. It gave you a cheap touchdown there.
Yeah.
D.
we have a new term now. Cheap touchdown. I like it.
I totally envision people taking those quotes at the end and just saying those at the table, because that's what we do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to get this thing in my hands. We'll say when maybe when it is out, when we got it in our hands, we'll have you back on. Like I said, and that's when we'll switch over Otto and Roland over to Dragonslayer. Any final thoughts, Greg, before we let you go for the evening?
No, just I really appreciate everybody coming by. If you've supported the Kickstarter, thank you very much. And I've done my best, and just put a couple years into it. And I think it'll show, and I hope that it finds feet, and that the third-party license will give people the wherewithal to let it take on a life of its own and write adventures and contribute to the hobby and grow the hobby.
And you can count me as one of those. Yeah, I was kind of just doing it just for generic OSR at first, and I don't want to say I wasn't inspired, because I certainly started it, but when I kind of in my mind said, you know what, I'm going to do it for Greg's game first and foremost. you know, and I think the good thing about that is when you're doing it for Greg's game, I think you can just kind of put a generic OSR label on it, because look, I mean, you were able to sell Barrow Maze and, you know, Dwaro Deep, you know, and all your other fine mega dungeons to the OSR crowd. And you never bothered to explain, like, oh, by the way, I'm using a sort of a house system. People in the OSR are pretty smart. They can kind of figure out what's going on. I mean, there's just a couple of, if you're not going to use your system, it's pretty easy, you know, to convert.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so the hobby has always been about, oh yeah, I want to use like this person's rule set or AD&D or BX or whatever, but this adventure just came out and I want to play that. And if those things are cross compatible, and that's the great thing about TSR D&D, is that all the DNA aligns. And so yeah, like if you're playing OSE, you can run my adventures with that. You'll be able to take Dragonslayer. You'll be able to run OSE adventures with that. And, you know, that's a rising tide. I mean, that lifts all the boats.
Yep.
That contributes to the hobby. And the compatibility logo is super sweet. It's like the patches that I sent you. So that'll look really good on, and it'll be in different colors, so you can choose whichever one you want and use that.
I'm really, really looking forward, to getting this thing done, getting it out there for people. You know, and just, I guess, a personal note, you know, for Greg, you know, what a cool guy he is. I think when I had Alex McCrease on, you know, his hugely successful Adventure Conqueror Kings game, you know, he mentioned that he had been talking, you know, with Greg, and Greg, you know, kind of reached out to him and, you know, kind of, you know, maybe gave him a little moral support, because I could, you know, you could kind of tell that Alex was, you know, he was kind of, you know, flattened by all the success. But if you could kind of hear, you know, when we had him on the show, he was also talking about, you know, there's crazy people out there who are always, you know, on the lookout for an easy target. So as Greg just said, rising tide lifts all boats, you know, and I'm glad that you guys are kind of helping each other in all this.
Well, you have to, because you can take a lot of shite from the crazies, and it's just important that you stay the course and that you keep doing what you're doing, and you put your best foot forward. And I think people that know you respect that, and when they know that you love the game as much as they do, and that you want to put the time and you want to put the charm and the texture and the flavor into it, that you know, that is great. And you know, and I'm a big Alex fan. I think Axe is great, and you know, OSE is great too. And this is just my style, and I have a very clear vision for the art for these projects, and it interconnects with the mechanics too.
Yeah, like I said, even if I was fine with the OSE system, I would probably still want yours, just honestly, just for all the artwork in it. It's just cool. Insane.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, as much as I have great respect for the OSE fellows, and I've talked to them in the past, it's just not my style. It's not for me, and it doesn't have that cool factor. And so, but I think Dragonslayer definitely has the it factor. Yep. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we only showed you just a small portion. That's almost a 300-page book, you know, and we just look at all the artwork you saw tonight, and probably like maybe 20 pages, you know, we showed. So it's crazy. So this is definitely going to be one. If you have the money, if you have the budget, and you're like, you know what, I'm just a collector, don't sit on this one. You know, definitely get it. Well worth it. Okay. Well, I think that'll about do it for Greg's portion tonight. Greg, thank you so much. It's great as always having you on the show. Any final words, boys?
No, this was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome looking through this again. Getting a bit, you know, a little bit better understanding.
Yep.
The monk is very, very intriguing.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
But
for sure,
it's great to have this conversation with people that are involved in my hobby, that are working to make it better, when so many people out there are not.
Yeah.
You know, they're just not
dragging it down. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you on our side. For sure.
You know, I think it's, you know, that's part of it too. We don't like the direction that some companies are going with the game, and it's important that we have a counterpunch to that, and show people what the game's supposed to be, what its origins and its history are, and how important Gygax was in making this game that was so core to our gaming world and gaming experience, and that's worth sharing with other people and bringing forward again.
Crazy Mouse,
I just wanted to say thanks for making the time for us today and helping us out with our technical difficulties at the very beginning.
Well, that was mine. I feel like it was my fault, and I want to apologize for that.
My computer crashed, so the first one was mine. I think the connection issue was hopefully will won't be a problem in the future. That may have been a Canadian thing, but who knows? So it doesn't matter. We had a great conversation.
Spilled some maple syrup in his motherboard.
yeah. The old maple syrup in the CPU. It'll do it every time, right?
All right. Thanks again.
Yep. Greg, thanks. Take care. We'll talk soon, buddy. Loved having you on. We'll have you on again too when the book comes out.
Cheers.
All right. Peace.
Take care, Greg. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for
being. So he had to change names of monsters because D&D owns the rights to them, or something.
Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah, a couple of them would be considered, like copyrighted. Mm-hmm. So, you just gotta know which ones those are, and it's obviously pretty easy. You saw Demogorgon was different, and Lolth was, but it's not too hard to suss out who's who, right? There's one little, before we do our catch up with Otto and Roland real quick. There's one small part of a Professor Dungeon Master video that I wanted you guys to see. I thought it was really funny.
I can't wait.
You guys up for it?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So,
love this guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, how could you not? Hold on. I want to make sure I have the desktop audio on. It is. All right, so he's talking about going to the PAX convention, which is actually just over in Philadelphia. I think it's kind of a board game / RPG. I always thought it was more board game, but I guess maybe it's becoming more role-playing focused. And our friend here, Andy Rooney, a.k.a. Professor Dungeon Master, he was there. And he caught up with the Critical Role folks. But he also had a little guest with him, so listen up.
I made a few clickbait videos about Wizards of the Coast and Matt Mercer. You may have seen Hasbro stock tanks in Wizards Exposed or D&D Disaster.
Right away. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm not understanding this stock tanking. I keep looking, and
well, you'd have to look at maybe the 2 year to see where it was 2 years ago.
I get it, but if you just had stock in Hasbro, it's going up. So if I owned it, in its lifetime, it has gone down. Mm-hmm. But if you are a current investor in Hasbro, your stock just went up.
All right.
So that part, I don't want to nitpick, but I'm just okay, the stock's not tanking. This stock went up $5 in the last month. So, chat, help me out. Am I looking at it wrong? So, I'm trying to understand that the stock's not tanking.
Right.
It has gone up $5 in the last month, which is 11%.
Yeah, 1 second. They're saying we got some echo here.
That's probably just me fucking ranting. I don't know. I'm yelling, so it's going through everybody's mic. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, in the last 3 months, the stock has gone down. But if you're a current investor, your stock is rising. Are these old videos, Double D?
No, pretty new. Yeah, maybe it's coming through. All right, maybe just maybe we'll have to do this. Because I'm not... oops, 1 second here. I know what I can do. I know what I can do.
Chris, good night.
Yeah, peace out, Chris. Have a good one.
Right,
I get it, Adino, that the stock closed at 49 today, which was up.
All right. All right, so I'm going to play a little more, you guys.
Bring it.
Let me know if this
Well,
echoes.
Matt hates this and Scandella Obscura. And people always ask me, do you think Matt Mercer or Wizards of the Coast ever watch your videos? Well, this...
All right, so I'll wait a second. God damn it. Yeah. Like I said, we had... Mute your studio mic. Is it? Okay. All right. All right, I'll try muting it, and then... this is like the good old days of when we used to have audio issues.
You got a super chat there, buddy.
Thank you. By the way, thank you, Mercurius, for the super chat, $2. Emery Kalame, $10. Looks great. I'm sure he's referring to Greg's Dragonslayer game. Loved your mega dungeons and bestiary. Best old times feel of any OSR product line. Yeah, with that artwork, I would definitely agree. Ogreiest ogres.
I like that.
And abolithiest aboleths galore. No handrails or ramps. Just stone, torches, peril, and gloom. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that one book of Greg's will cover it's really a DM's guide, a monster manual, and a player handbook all in one.
Yeah.
And he never did give the price. He just said it'd be a little bit more than what it is on the Kickstarter. What was it on a Kickstarter if you wanted to buy it? When I asked him that, the answer he gave was just it's a little more than Kickstarter. Because someone asked in the chat way back when, it just said, how much is this book?
All right. It's a good question. I can't remember how much the actual campaign was.
60, says Edgelord.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a 60 American. It was more Canadian, because he's based in Canada. So, all right, one last chance here, guys. If not, we'll just go right to auto enroll, and we'll catch up with those guys. All right, let's see if we can do this. I switched mics.
PAX Unplugged, I bumped.
All right, we'll go back.
Scandella Obscura. And people always ask me, do you think Matt Mercer or Wizards of the Coast ever watch your videos?
All right, let's see. Echoey.
Nope.
Good.
Krugus says good.
Oh, man.
Maybe
All
Krugus
right.
is referring to the $60 to $80 book is
Yes.
good.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay. Now we're making sounds better.
All right.
He's answering a question from a half hour ago.
All right, here we go. All right, so let's see. We'll start it over here. Thank you guys for bearing with us. Yeah, we had pretty much ditched our technical bugaboos for a while, but like I said, sometimes things get a little out of hand.
Obscura. And people always ask me, do you think Matt Mercer or Wizards of the Coast ever watch your videos? Well, this PAX Unplugged, I bumped into Matt Mercer, as well as Wizards VP of Game Development, Chris Kao, and Director of Wizards Digital, Cale Stutzman. And I played the latest top secret version of the VTT. And upon meeting Cale Stutzman, his first words to me were, Deathbringer. And I'll tell you all about it today on Dungeon Craft.
Deathbringer here. Subscribe so you never miss an upload.
Welcome to Dungeon Craft. I'm Professor Dungeon Master, and this channel is about all things role-playing games. So you may have seen this story on Roll for Combat or Bob World Builder, but I'm going to tell it from my point of view. We're having breakfast in my hotel. It's me, Bob World Builder.
All right, so he's hanging out with Bob World Builder.
That's like Paige and Plant getting back together.
That's right. Yeah, it's a super group. All right.
World Destroyer and Steven Glicker for Roll for Combat, as well as my wife. And it's Bob's first big con, so I wanted to be with him when he entered that exhibit hall to see the childlike wonder in his eyes. And we're just getting our food when who comes in and sits down almost right across from us? It's Matt Mercer. And Bob is like, it's Matt Mercer. And I'm like, yeah, he eats. And I went on talking about whatever I'm talking about, but Bob is just hearing brr, 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 because across the way is Matt Mercer.
Recordings just got
Oh, Professor Dungeon Master.
I'm so excited to
At least we got to see Dana.
So we finish and get up to go, and Matt is finishing at the same time, so Bob works up the courage to go over and introduce himself. And he does. He gets up there and says, hi, I'm... And Matt flashes that megawatt smile and says, you're Bob the World Builder. And I think Bob almost fainted. It was really a sweet, wholesome moment. It was like taking my 6-year-old to see Santa, and he's like, Santa knows who I am. And we all...
I wonder if he thought he was doing him a solid here, by saying all that.
I don't doubt for a minute everything he says is true.
Bob had the childlike wonder of a 6-year-old. Oh man. Yeah, I guess. God, I hate Critical Role. I don't know. I guess that just struck me as humorous. Let's see. Brave browser. Yeah. Let's see. All right. So it looks like Bob had a very, very wondrous PAX. Let's see. Are you guys ready? I guess one last thing I wanted to do. We're going to do a little bit more on the list. We're going to add a couple of companies. So, all right. I think we're good with adding up at the top Lamentations of the Flame Princess. James Raggi, I think he belongs in the hero category. You heard him talking about the language policing that Wizards of the Coast is doing. He really hated it. If you watch that whole video, it's kind of slow, but if you pin through it, definitely James is one of the good ones. But there's one here I wanted to ask you guys about. Pelgrane Press. Now they do Trail of Cthulhu. Edgelord Raggi is a hero. Yep, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about James Raggi. So next version of this, I will add him. But I want to know what to do about Pelgrane Press. Trail of Cthulhu. They do 13th Age. Is it, guys? Help me out there in the chat. Trail of Cthulhu, I have like the old books, and they sound, I mean, I guess they're fine for what they are. There's no like safety tools, but obviously this is like a like an older version. So I will let you guys vote on Pelgrane Press.
Devil just said they started going woke.
Yeah, I saw that. I have a feeling that's it. But all right, so remember, guys, maybe they're not heroes because these are unqualified, like almost anti-woke. Cowards are companies that are not explicitly political but are starting to virtue signal or trumpet safety tools. So maybe Pelgrane is cowards. That would be number 2. Are they traitors? I think it's just between 2 and 3. I don't think they're either 1 or 4. So I think they're probably in this middle ground from what I understand. Traders, companies that have really lost it and are relishing aspects of identity politics. They've changed things in their products to more closely align with flavor of the day leftism, or they shame their fans. Has Pelgrane done any of this stuff? Look who's also here. You got Monty, Pinnacle, basically just for kind of scolding their own fans and changing up Deadlands. Chaosium, starting to seep into the final product. MCDM. Some folks were saying that Matt Colville doesn't. Hey, there's nothing in his work yet. Well, I guess we'll see in the new book. I guess they'll stay here for now. Catalyst, of course, fired Blaine Pardo, and Blaine said that he was getting a lot of communication from them to make things like, hey, you need a woman here, or you need this. So whether you realize it or not, that shit was flowing through to Catalyst Games, so they definitely belong in this. Goodman Games, they have retracted getting rid of Gygax from the 10th edition. Remember, we went through that last time? I guess Joe Goodman said, I didn't realize it was such a big deal to you all. We'll put it back. It was almost like he was like, well, I guess if it means something to you. He's doing like the right thing for like the wrong reason.
He did the wrong thing for the wrong reason.
Yeah, for sure. There's still that 2021 Dungeon Con online thing that they have to answer for that we read last week. Yeah. Until they disavow that, these mofos are staying right here. Until they at least say we screwed up. We shouldn't have done at least some of that. Yeah. Modifius, of course, they're just getting worse and worse. And Critical Role. If you saw my video talking about Indestructo Boy and the Critical Role people coming after him because he himself gave a very bad review of that Candela Obscura game. Death threats from critters. Sacre Bleu. So, where do we think Pelgrane Press is? You guys?
A little I know. I'm going to go with Coward.
Yeah, let's go 2 for Coward, 3 for Trader. I'll write it here. So we got Mercurius saying 2.
It's 4 2s and 2 3s. 5 2s.
Yep. Some folks haven't played any of their stuff in years. Looks like the 2s are having it right now.
6 to 3.
Yep. 6-4. Yeah, Mark C. Don't even know what they. Yeah, you may not.
6-6. Double D.
Oh boy.
Chat is torn as well.
It's like coin flip. No idea.
3s are winning.
Damn. I think it's about almost a tie. I mean, there's 3 might have it by a little bit.
3 has it by 2 right now.
Oh, there we go. Larenjaco adding his. All right.
So they're traders.
Yep. Close it down in 10. If anybody's on the fence. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Should have downloaded the owl eating a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah. All right. Traders they are. You guys you make the call, as they used to say. All right.
Edgelord, we appreciate your vote, but
yeah, I think they still had it by 2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on them. But yeah, I will put that Pelgrane Cowards. Raggi, hero. I can live with that. All righty. Well, thank most of you for sticking around. We are. Let's see if we have any final chats we want to get to. I'll do this while you guys get stuff ready on your end. Who's on the villain? Yeah, Eric Webb. It's everybody who you'd expect. Paizo, Wizards of the Coast, Evil Hat. I think people voted maybe Kobold there too. I think Kobold's more of a coward, but Vox Populi, as they say. Let's see. Yep. As long as they don't try to change the hobby to embrace woke ideas, it's just virtue signaling. Yeah. Yep. I can see that. Critical Role evil by association. Well, they did. I mean, look, if you do consider yourself Republican or conservative, they don't like you. And now they have infiltrated their work. You know, Candela Obscura has almost some eye-opening stuff. So much so that Indestructo Boy was chafing at it. So I think you could actually put Critical Role into the villain category now. Maybe we'll vote on that next time. Let's see. Is the category below villain for Green Ronin? Yeah, another one. Green Ronin and Evil Hat are probably the worst of the worst. If you were going to say anything was...
There's different kinds of hell. You know?
yeah. They're in a lower pit of hell. They're almost irredeemable, I would say. Yeah, Mercurius, Critical Roles 5. Yeah, maybe we'll move them next time. We'll do a little vote on them. But yeah, Green Ronin and Evil Hat are just awful. Awful. I don't think we've done Mongoose yet. Maybe we can try them out next time.
Kick the tires on them.
Yeah.
Talking earlier about art, about how it can set your imagination. Good art in the books could help sell, etc. I'm looking back in my mind about third edition, and I think during third edition's toward the tail end there, Wayne Reynolds, I think the artist name was. He was hugely popular, and I got to say I really did enjoy his art for quite a while. But then it got to the point where I'm looking at some of his art. I'll use specifically the cover of the Black Company book that they put out.
Mm-hmm.
What a piece of shit that cover is. I mean, like the perspective is off.
Oh yeah,
It is really a poorly put together. Kind of an afterthought.
Rogan's mic off.
It's on now. Yeah.
Okay.
It was off for a second.
I'm here.
Yeah, Rogan was just saying how the later third edition art really did start to suck. Yeah, especially like the Black Company. Did any of you guys get the Black Company in the chat? Because I remember everybody was like looking forward to that.
Yeah, that was Green Ronin, I believe.
It was, yeah.
And he did art for a bunch of stuff, or a bunch of books and stuff like that, and a lot of it was really cool. It was different coming out the way it did. Certainly added flavor to that edition. But then I'm looking at some of this stuff. I'm like, man, this is like, it's getting lazy. And like, these gotta, I use Rob Liefeld as a standard for certain things regarding art. So. Yeah. He gets 2 Rob Liefelds on that cover, or maybe 3.
Rob Liefeld is my spirit animal.
But the cover for that book specifically, I just remember, and I brought it up on my phone here, looking at it again, and it's just wonky. It's poor perspective.
Yeah.
It's got all the things that make people all starry-eyed. Wow, look at that cover, that's awesome. But when you look at it, it's pretty stupid.
Not really.
Just saying.
All right.
I'm off my soapbox.
Yep. Yeah, the novels were great. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, edgelord, absolutely. All right, well, listen, guys. We are going to slip into our live play of our little comic strip style live play. So we maybe do this like 20 minutes or a half hour. I think we may have a combat to do. It obviously it's not going to be for all of you. If you guys were just here for the normal stream, then I don't know, maybe this is where you want to jet out, or if you want to stick around and see what it's all about, that's fine too. But that's what we're going to do. So for those of you that are dipping out now, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the conversation with Greg.
And again, thanks for your patience. This evening.
Yeah, definitely a couple of ghosts in the machine. Oh, Occul's here. Occul is the one that did the list for RPG Pundit site, the RPG site. So this is kind of just a companion. I do give him a shout out. If you download my list, and I'll have an updated one pretty soon, I will, like I said, I will definitely give him a shout out. We're just trying to like refine it, maybe give people some definite recommendations on whether you should support it or not. But yeah, check them both out. And if there's differences, you'll just have to kind of cobble them together between ours and his. But good job, Occul. Basic expert and Victor should be under heroes, not to stir up needless drama. But oh boy,
I can't stand drama.
I like drama when it's with our enemies. Like I was kind of going at it a little bit with Indestructo Boy. I like that kind of drama. That's not really drama. That's just kind of warfare. I hate it when people when there's all these inter-feuds on our own side, people that should be on the same side, just kind of
nitpicking.
Yeah, it's like, guys, can we let's everybody just get beyond this? I will always try to do that. And look, I mean, what can I say? ADL Pundit stirs up drama. Yep, look. I think Pundit, he would have to admit himself, he occasionally will light the fire, and he has to deal with the backlash. So yeah, I certainly wish he wouldn't do that. But I like him. I don't know what to say. I like them all. I mean, I try to get along with them all, but whatever. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm the only fucking adult in the room, with a lot of these guys. Maybe it's just because I'm a little bit older.
Double D, I was just going to say that. Sometimes I'm sitting back and I listen to shit that's going on, whether it be my own house. I don't really have coworkers, so to speak, but I do have people I see a lot while I'm working. And I just sit back and I'm thinking, what did I miss something? What on earth are you complaining about?
Exactly.
Can we go back? I must have missed something here.
Yeah. It's
and it just drives me absolutely just bonkers.
Every frickin' day at work. Every frickin' day.
I will say this about our enemies. They are a lot more united, and maybe that's also their weakness in that they're just sort of a hive mind. But part of me wants to say, could we just be a tiny little bit like them?
Do you think that
tiny little bit and be together?
From our perspective, our gaming group is anywhere between, I believe we could fairly say between 6 and 8. If your daughter, is part of that on occasion.
Yeah, people,
not.
Yep.
And I would say that we have drama.
Oh yeah,
It happens.
Look, wherever there's people, there's going to be drama. But it's different drama. Different drama.
Scott Garibay is a colleague, not a
He's a colleague, not a coworker.
He's not a coworker.
I
wonder if he knows. I don't know if Scott Garibay watches your videos or has ever, been told about him. I wondered if he knows that people have figured out that he's a dasher.
I think so. He may have admitted it at some point. I think
Yeah.
OGGM said that he admitted it.
Yeah,
At
okay.
some point. So yeah, maybe it's so patently obvious now.
Well, now that we know what to look for.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Like I said, if you guys want to stick around for the live play, that's what we're going to do next. If you're going to nope out, that's okay too. We love you. Either way, we'll be back, of course, next week. We'll have our show before Christmas. They got each other in the Secret Santa Dasher party.
I'd pick Scott's brain. If I saw Scott when I was out working, I would definitely say hi to him.
You know how motorcyclists they always get the down low like deuce.
That
know,
is
when they run by.
2 wheels on the road.
2 wheels on the road. Yeah, you dashers have to.
You can always tell it. I'll tell you one thing. I've said this to many people. You can always tell a dasher or any of the other apps that I do just by the way they hold their phone when they're walking. We have a certain way that the phone, if we're pushing our buggy in a grocery store, we have our phone a certain way. When you're dashing, you have your phone like it's just a certain way you hold your phone. You hold it different than another person does. And I think I told you, Double D, I think you might know this, but maybe you just don't remember it. I was scrolling so much with my thumb that the right side of my screen protector was getting worn through. So I actually just needed not my screen itself.
Yeah, just the protector. Yeah.
And I took it in to get it replaced, get a new one. And they're like, how did this happen? I'm just like scrolling with my thumb up and down for all the offers. And you're trying to find the best
swiping
one.
right.
Yeah.
Not for dames, but for money. All right. All right. So thanks everybody who's going to be taking off. And for those of you that are sticking around, well, welcome to Otto and Roland.
Nick, you are 100% correct.
It's Caribou. Chunk will be.
Kind of like the movie, not Casino. What was the other one about Henry Hill?
Oh, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah,
yep.
Goodfellas. Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
In the movie Goodfellas, they actually talked to Henry Hill about the way that the character Robert De Niro plays, about how he gets ketchup out of the bottle. And in the scene at breakfast at Martin Scorsese's mother's house, at breakfast, he holds the ketchup and he rubs it, and that's how that person in real life did the ketchup. So Robert De Niro wanted to be as authentic as possible.
All right. Well, we have a little situation here. Otto and Roland. Well, first of all, we got to show off our new map.
That is sweet.
That is the world map. Murderer 1 and Murderer 2, I think, says Krugus.
Like Thing 1 and Thing 2?
Thing 1 and Thing 2, yeah. This is a map I made on Incarnate of the world. So I really like this. So the guys are down kind of below Elpa there. A little bit south of Elpa. But, there you go. There's the little "you are here" thing. So let's see. Do the long story short. These guys broke out of a prison wagon. Roland killed a guard. They had some hijinks in Elpa, but they are being pursued. The law is on their tail.
Well, and I'm not being confrontational. Well, of course you're on our tail. We're fucking telling everybody exactly where we're going. Hi, I'm Otto and Roland, and we're on the run. Here we are in Elpa.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Guilty as charged.
All right, so this is the guardsman's father now has a vested interest in tracking down, probably especially Roland when push comes to shove.
Roland's starting to have dreams about this guard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not so good ones.
Yeah, it's there he is. His last moments. You fiend, you. You bastard. He speaks to you in dreams, and you say, "What did I do? What did I do? Oh, I killed him. He begged for his life, and you killed him." So that all happened before. Now in this village, you guys took some odd jobs, and you were under this guy, Roland. That's Ewan, his wife Thea, their daughter Katerina, who seems to have taken a shine to you.
Shazam.
Yeah.
After helping the town get rid of something that broke out of a crypt, a skeleton, you guys were kind of like the town heroes, riding high. You were doing a little roofing work there, Crazy
That
Mouse?
is correct.
Things are going well. Then you were at an inn, the inn. And holy smokes. How things can change on a dime, right?
To go back a little bit earlier in that very day, before we were having dinner at the inn, I was pricing up some horses to trade my donkey in.
Exactly. You're at the Good Hammer Inn. Now, keep in mind, you, oddly enough, have met two people that were in that train with you, and they are escapees as well. Now, they didn't help, as far as you could tell, kill anybody. They just made off. One was a loudmouth redhead, and one was a hooker, a plump hooker in her 40s. So they are actually here, and you guys have not sort of acknowledged each other as what you are. Okay.
If memory's correct, we recognized them. They didn't recognize us, but there's like the woman had like a little bit of like, God, I've seen them before, but I don't know if they were a customer of mine or whatever. And as she was trying to talk, he pulled her away, like, get back, what are you looking at? Back to work.
Yep. So nothing has been vocalized. So right now it's just all conjecture. You guys have not really talked to each other very much, just in passing, right?
We do not avoid each other at dinner. We have sat next to each other, given that head nod of like, man, you look,
So you guys are trying to kind of pretend that you don't know each other.
Right.
But unfortunately, it seems Roland might have used his real name here.
That was so stupid.
That's okay. So one night, after you licked your wounds, all healed up, you were over at the inn. But you did shed blood together. You helped defeat that skeleton. So people sort of expect you guys to at least kind of know each other. And you do kind of say things. In walks this guy and this guy. One is a guardsman. The other you recognize as well from the prison wagon. This is a full bar. The Good Hammer is full one evening. These guys walk in and started to, I believe, say what they were looking for. Now, Crazy Mouse, Otto made it out, right?
Double D, I don't want to... that is correct. Not only did I make it out, I rolled a 1.
Yeah, which is in this game is what you want. That is a critical success. So you slide out the back door. This is the back of the inn that you guys are seeing. But unfortunately, this guy locked eyes with Roland. Maybe he locked eyes, with him and this young blonde. You think he was like maybe a thief, somebody who had been arrested for thieving. He like gave a nod, and you just hear like a hey as you're trying to get out. You failed your roll to get out.
Right.
Okay, so now you are just out, or you're just heading out. So first, we have pretty much a full round for Crazy Mouse to do what he wants. This is the back of the inn. There are no horses out here. If you can kind of see right here, there are outside steps to go up to a second level. There is a door up there. There's obviously this is a climbable surface if you wanted to do that, or if you wanted to run. Just let me know what you wish to do. There are other businesses on either side.
My first instinct would be I'm not going to leave my friend behind. There's no horses out back here. Is there horses out back behind a building or a business near here?
They would be. You would have to go out to the front and then across the street. To do that. You do hear, as you're out there, you do start to hear somebody's the guards. Hold on, you hear the guards say, "Halt, halt!" So you know something is probably up with your friend.
Okay, and I just want to describe this back as well. Does this back connect to another building's back?
No, I mean there's maybe about 20 yards on either side is like another business. And you mean like behind here?
Yeah. Like from the road next.
Yeah, I see. No, it's kind of more open back behind. This is a smaller village. There is like a cottage, we'll say maybe like 75 to 100 yards. If you kept going straight out back, and just kept walking straight, you would run into like a cottage there.
I'm going to run to that cottage. And I am going to actually look for a horse, is what I'm going to look for.
Now, keep in mind, that's going to take time. You understand?
I got it.
Okay.
But that is my goal. I'm going to get a horse. By hook or by crook.
All right. Well, then out comes... you were heading out. That's the last I knew of you, Roland.
Yeah, I was going to try. Yeah, I try to head out, yes.
So you come out. Make...
That's not right. Double D. He was going to get out, and that guard that you have on the screen grabbed his arm, and that's exactly where we left off.
He did grab my arm?
Yeah, okay, and that's when Double D was like, and that's where we're going to start.
All right. He didn't grab it so hard that you couldn't break free. So if you want to come out,
yes, I'll.
You can. If you want to stay and to try to talk to him. I guess that would be in the middle of the bar. Seeing as you were on your way out, I just figured that's where you would keep going. Yeah, he does grab you. You can try to pull away and run if you wish, or you can do whatever you want. You tell me.
I will pull away and run.
All right, so trying to make it out the back. And right now, everybody's just kind of stunned because they don't know what's going on.
Our heroes are being accosted.
All right. So I'm gonna do an initiative right now just for you two, seeing as Otto is has a head start and is headed straight out. All right. So this is yours, Roland. Ouch.
That guy's blocking our view. Yep.
That's a 10.
Oi.
And obviously, 2. Okay. All right, so we'll say you make it out, but you're kind of like bumping into the crowd. And then 2 people emerge. The guard and your boss, Ewan. The guard yells, stop! One last chance.
I'll stop.
Okay. All right. So you're about 5 away. Ewan is just kind of like standing here. He says, "What's this all about? You must have the wrong man." The guard says, "I do not, sir. He's been identified as the murderer of a guardsman back at Carlsfell. I'm to take him in."
Sir, you have that wrong.
You've been positively ID'd. That boy comes out.
Looks like the Dutch boy.
Yeah, it does.
He's got a very slappable face.
The boy comes out. The guard looks at him and says, "One last time." He doesn't look like he's relishing it, but he kind of looks at you and puts his head down and says, "Yeah, I think that's him. That's him." He draws his sword. What do you do?
I will insist, sir. You have the wrong person. This is obviously a mistaken of identification.
'Tis no mistake. He whistles, okay, and like a lesser guardsman comes around from the front. Maybe he was out front. Just comes around the corner, and he turns and says to him, "Put him in irons." And you hear the rattling of like hand chains as this guy walks over, and your boss is looking at you, and he says, "This can't be right. You know, this can't be right." In the distance, let's see if you can see where Otto is. Make a roll for just awareness, I guess.
I did not make it.
All right.
The man obviously approaching me. What is he wearing? How is he outfitted?
He's dressed like he doesn't have the headgear of the head guardsman, but you know he has like the he's got the armor. You know he's definitely a guardsman, like a breast. You know, just like a breastplate.
Right.
Yep. He says, "Now don't do anything rash." You know, as he's walking towards you, he's probably just a little bit older than you. Wait, Kevin Lamb, 1 second. That'll give you time to think. Late to the party, but keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Kevin. Good to see you over here. Yeah, thank you very, very much. Stand and deliver. Travis, it was the one-armed man. Well, this guy now has, the head guardsman now has his sword pointed at you, and the other one has a pair of open chains. I need now. I'll tell you what. Let's do one more round.
I will say plainly, I've seen how this supposed justice works with other people. You have the wrong man.
Okay. The other one comes up to you and grabs your arm. What do you do? Because they go first. He grabs, and this guy has a sword to your chest.
Oh, he has it. All right. I will.
They're not. They are not listening.
Yeah,
anymore.
I will brawl. You know, I will get out of the grasp and step back from, if I can, from the gentleman with the sword.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna have to do a brawling roll.
Do this. That was a miss. Unbelievable.
Wasn't a 20, was it?
No, it was not. It was a 19.
Oh, brother. Okay. You try to like scuffle with him to, get out of the change, pull away. But he's got you, and the guard now is going to try to hit you with the flat of his sword. Okay.
Now I could try to dodge this.
No, you just went.
All right.
He misses though, so we got a new round. All right.
So this is the third round.
Mm-hmm.
What is Otto doing?
You've got to still be on your way to that cottage. Are you running at a full tilt?
Oh yeah, I'm running.
Yep. You probably won't be there. Maybe at the end of this round.
Okay.
We'll say at the end of this round. Yep, for sure. Make an awareness roll auto.
I missed. I rolled a 16.
All right. We just have to keep going. I'm sorry, Rogan. I am. They go first.
Dang.
They're both the one is going to try to hit you with the flat of his sword. That's the green, and the other one is just going to try to like bludgeon you. They're not trying to kill you. They're trying to take you into custody. Okay, 6 and a 9. Okay, so those are hits. Now this is like subdual damage.
Right.
Okay, but if you go below 0, you're unconscious. Holy shit. 6 and a 7 damage.
Well, that's up there.
Yeah, you got one left as far as I can see.
Yeah,
right?
yes, I do.
Now the good news is they're not holding you anymore. They're just kind of like trying to knock you out. Yeah, in case you guys want to see that. That was legit. Go ahead. What do you want to do?
Boy, the only thing I can think of is grabbing the guy with the irons and just grabbing a hold of him and swinging him into the other guy, into the guy with the sword.
All right. It's got to be brawling. We'll say this is like an effect, so maybe that you can kind of discombobulate him.
I made it 7.
All right. You throw him in. By the way, your boss is like, he doesn't know what to think.
I got to get those forearms back to work.
Yes. All right. So you've kind of have just kind of thrown him off, but you are woozy as hell, dude. Like you are. So the beatings will continue until Roland's morale improves. But some more or less. Yeah. More or less. All right. Oh my Lord! Look at that! Look at that! Holy shit! Hold on one second. We have a super from Howard. Howard, good to see you. Thank you. I just want to say good luck. We're all counting on you. Yes.
No pressure.
From airplane. Yep. Just want to say good luck. We're all counting. Look at that. He got the 9. He drew the 9, and then wouldn't you know it?
That's like Baccarat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Crazy Mouse. Okay. You have a little space. Because you threw the other guy into the guard, they're just kind of like untangling momentarily. What do you wish to do?
The only thing I can think of is get to the smith's place and try to get my horse.
That's around front. You understand? Yeah, so you'd have to go around front.
Right.
You're going to try to make a run for it?
I'm going to make a run for it, yeah. I have to avoid being hit again. I know my limitations, so I'm going to run.
All right. Boy being woozy. Okay. You run, but they are right on your tail. And once they untangle, Do you have enough die 8s to do a die 8?
I have 4.
All right, we're gonna do our little die 8 system. We're gonna see if Rogan can get away from these people.
How about I join in as well? I didn't do anything this round yet.
But you are like, he is going the opposite direction. You understand? You're going 100 yards the opposite direction.
I got it.
Yeah. So at the end of this round, you find a horse.
Okay.
As like stabled up.
So when you roll initiative next, toss me in. Because this would be this round right now. This is the end of this round.
Yeah.
Because Rogan had a 9, they had a 10.
Yep.
That's the end of this round.
Yeah.
So I found the horse.
I was gonna do a quick little inish or a little chase thing if that was okay. die 8. And you can come in at the end regardless of what happens. So maybe you guys will both end up having horses and you can just get the F out of Dodge.
I hope so. We'll find out.
All right. All right, let me see what we got here. Yeah, so we are looking for 8s, guys. Rogan, do you want to come over here and do it?
Sure.
This is kind of how we do chases sometimes. Yeah, it'll happen. You can bring your... I'll tell you what, we'll both do it there. How's that? You guys almost got a free shot of Rogan there.
Rogan's been on camera during our
That's
live
true,
plays.
Yeah, on the live plays, yeah.
On when Double D runs a Friday night live play.
Yeah, you're on. All right, so the object here, these guys are chasing each other. We're doing this in real time. Try to do it, where people can see here. The object is to roll to get your 8s first. When you roll an 8, you remove that dice. And then, let's say I roll. Oh, I got an 8. I can remove that 8. Now I'm only rolling 3. Oh, I got another 8, down to 2. The first one to get rid of all their dice wins. And you are running for your life. Yeah, I get that.
Meat says it's Grand Theft Auto.
All right, here we go.
You need the CSI Miami guy, David Caruso, for that. All right. Try to do it over here as best you can, and you say go, Otto.
On your mark, get set, go.
None. 1.
1.
2. Oh, you got 3, motherfucker. Oh, I 3. Last one. Holy shit. Who's gonna get it? Got it.
Oh.
You're fucked. You're fucked. All right. You're running full tilt. They're running full tilt. It's the guardsman. The guardsman overbears you and tackles you, and now you are like flat on your back. The other guy has caught up, and he has like a short sword out, and now they have a sword to your throat. He says, "Don't try to run anymore. You are like in the middle of the street now, in front of this inn." Kind of in sight of the blacksmith shop. Now you may hear a horse whinnying in the distance. The closing distance. What do you do, Otto? You don't know what's going on, so keep that in mind.
I mean, I'm riding that horse hard over to the where I'm thinking he is.
All right.
Frank, the name of the game is Dragonbane.
Yeah. This is a system we're doing with Free League. Now, that die 8 thing is just our house system.
Yeah, that's a house rule.
Yeah, we just do that occasionally for chases. It's a good little adrenaline. Is it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's it'll pump up the adrenaline a little. You guys should just try it. I mean, you can give one side or the other an advantage by just giving them fewer dice or more dice. They had 2 on their side. Roland's young and nimble. There was 2 of them, so I kind of deemed it equal. But if one side had an advantage, I'd say like, okay, you only take 3 dice with you. That way you only have to clear your 8s on 3 dice as opposed to 4. So just a very abstract mechanic, but I actually kind of like it because it's real time. There's hardly anything in real time. It's always by turn. But I think the number of rolls pretty much evens out. I mean,
right.
You may sneak an extra one here or there.
Well, I mean, that's part of the lore. Like, how quick are your reflexes?
Yeah,
assessing
exactly.
the situation. Do I have that 8? Do I not have to roll it anymore? How many am I grabbing? Like it is total real time.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah. And then you just, obviously these guys are tearing through the in between the buildings, and the guard just overbears you and kind of jumps on top of you because they catch up with you.
Makes sense. He's woozy.
Yeah. You can just kind of hear him like, hey, and you do see the flash of a sword. Do you offer resistance now?
Well, if I'm tackled, I won't resist.
Okay.
No.
Okay. The first thing they do is put your hands in irons. Fortunately, they're in your front. They just want to get the irons on you.
Right.
Okay. And then the guard drags you up. Okay. And then when he drags you up on your feet and you're kind of shaking the cobwebs out, he says, don't try that again. He says, I don't want to have to kill you, but I will. You hear a horse. And Otto, you see what's going on. It's, around the front of the inn now.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see now a crowd has kind of spilled out onto the street, as would naturally happen.
In Indiana Jones music playing in the background.
yeah, for sure. So
I'm
you
making a beeline right for the group, right for
all right.
Where everyone is
Yep.
standing, because I probably won't be able to see.
Yep. Well, if you picture the front side of this building here, everybody's just kind of out there and they're just kind of offset a little bit. So you actually have a perfect view to see them.
Okay.
What do you wish to do? What is your plan here?
My plan is to go right by Roland, and my plan is to go right by Roland, get myself the horse in between Roland and the guards, and then have him help him up to get on my horse.
All right, that's going to take some mighty fine riding.
I do have a question before we get doing that.
Yeah.
My memento. What does a memento do? What is the benefit in?
Yeah. Let me get the.
Because I have an idea what might in my mind what might be happening at the moment.
It's Yeah, and yours is what is your memento again? Explain.
It's a ring inscripted in from a woman I loved very much who offered me her heart and passed away.
The memento just allows you to recover a condition during a stretch rest.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be more for in between.
Right.
It's not going to probably help you out of this situation. All right, so Otto, boy, you have a 6 in riding, huh?
Yeah. One moment. We have a technical difficulty at fucking home.
Oh, boy.
No one picked up Derek from work.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you just want to make this roll, we'll stop it right here.
Nope. Carrie's going to get him.
All right. All righty. So, yeah, you start to see out of the corner of your eye. Now, you can give him a bonus if you can try to maneuver, because they don't seem to be aware of him, Roland. So if you can kind of bluff or deceive these guys into maneuvering your body, even though your front is chained, you can kind of maneuver your body where it would be easier for him to, get you, I guess.
I'll try. I'll pull the, I'm seeing birds and stars right now, and I'll do the stagger.
Yep.
Not like I'm resisting, but maybe my brain is shutting down. Oi.
Bluffing?
I'll bluff. 2.
Nice. All right. So you will get a bonus of, I'll tell you what. That was so good. I will give you a boon on this roll, Crazy Mouse.
A boon is rolling 2.
2 dice and taking the lowest, which is, you want low, of course, in this game.
My rating is a 6. I rolled a 1 and an 11.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Well, the 1 did it. In one fell swoop, Otto comes by, literally grabs you by the under the arm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just you said you wanted to pick him up onto the horse.
Yep.
All right, very heroic thing to do.
I told you Temple or what's his
Yeah,
name? In
Indiana
the
Jones.
background.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. The dice finally came through. Yep. All right. So yeah, you guys pick you up. Everybody you hear an audible like, oh, and then you hear the guard just cursing, like, get them, get me a horse. But you guys are on top of the same horse. Now, keep in mind, Rogan, when we pick it up next time, you are still chained.
Right.
But the good news is in the front, okay, arm chains in the front.
Right.
Okay, so they're not behind your back. All right. So,
Like grabbing a mailbag by Pony Express.
yeah. We'll see the last thing you see as you're going out of the village, which is where are you going? Which way are you going? I guess you would have been going.
Well, we would be going
south.
Well,
I think
Matt, wherever the front of that building is.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture
If
it.
we're looking at the building, we're going to the right because we're not doubling back. We're
Yeah.
keeping our momentum.
Yep. So you'd be going south.
Okay.
Which
is where we wanted to go.
Yeah, and then let me know what direction you want to change. The last thing you see, Rogan, as you're leaving, as you're like going, she must have not. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she wasn't at the inn or something, and she was just walking. And she says, "Hey, old Roland," and then just kind of looks confused as like you guys tear by at like a breakneck pace.
I'll smile at her and I'll nod. as if nothing's happening.
Mr. Microphone, hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later. All right. Well, nicely done. Yeah. Get on to the next town. Or you just make a breakneck run for the coast. We shall see.
I think we have to. Otto pushes Roland off and grabs her.
I wouldn't blame him.
We have to decide if we still want to keep going south or if we want to throw, because we've been talking about going south, but the jig is up with who we are. We might.
There's the map.
Yeah. Civ was always the plan, if I'm saying that name right.
Yep.
Maybe one of those ways on the way we cross that stream. And what's double D? You can't see. What's down here?
Nothing. The coast. Here, let me.
That is an awesome map.
Thank you. All right, so there's the pull-out view.
Maybe we go to are there any small little coastal towns down there? We'll have to ask, obviously, but
you can imagine that there's going to be small villages and hamlets all through.
And that's maybe where we really head, is some small little place, and then go over to Civ for the catch a boat. But the best bet right now is to not go to Civ, I don't think.
Do need a way to get these manacles off me.
We'll have to figure that out. Yep.
Travis says head east into the hills. Oh, he's talking about these hills here. To the east of Duborg, yeah. You're below Elpa.
How far?
Not far at all. You guys were only a couple days.
What is this?
Woods. And then as I think you know, there's those lands to the east where you start seeing like kind of like a desert like. Do you see the little skull there?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Remember, that was the story, that one guy you saw. He went there and doesn't talk anymore. But there's apparently some old empires out that, that expired a long, long time ago. But you have to go through a lot of like wasteland to get there. That's what you heard about back in Elpa. Yes, Surly points out. Yeah, I meant to say that too. That is a river, so you'll have to find at least a fording or a bridge to get across that if you're headed that direction to west.
realistically, there would be some bridge. There wouldn't be a 200-mile long river with no way to get across.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, you're thinking in modern terms, there could very well be that stretch, but there could also be a ford, where you can maybe find a low point and either swim across or, maybe try to ride your horse across. Now, there's definitely going to be a bridge around Duborg, you could imagine.
Yeah.
There's definitely, of course, one up at Carlsfell, and there's probably one, near
Remember in the movie
Civ.
Remember in the movie The Fugitive? Everyone thought he left town, but Richard Kimball really stayed in Chicago the whole time. Maybe we go back to Carlsfell.
Ooh. Somebody brought up the Duke boys.
Yeah. Jump it. Yep.
Jump it like the Duke boys.
Just a good
good old boy. Overkill Joe. Of course it was Overkill Joe.
Well, I mean, that's something we'll have to discuss while we're riding.
And while we're riding, I expect this. I expect a good dress down from Otto.
Well, I mean, in character, I will say, like, are you determined to go back to prison? Because it seems like you are. For the foreseeable future, you are Dale.
Dale and Craven.
Yes.
I am Dale.
And I said, I think with that beautiful woman, you weren't thinking with the right head.
That much is true.
Yeah. Well, we'll say you guys had enough of a head start. You can, if you need to slow down a hair just for the horse's sake, you can have this.
And also, wasn't it getting close to night?
Oh, it's definitely night. It's definitely night. Yeah. So
go and find somewhere to rest. Man, I do feel like Richard Kimball. Like we're gonna have to sleep in the leaves tonight.
Well, keep in mind, there is a very big forest, right to the, as you would be going down that road south, it would be directly to your right, directly west of you. Of course, there is a, it's not like a main road, but it's a trade road, between hamlets and villages. And that's, I assume, what you're on right now. So if you want to duck off somewhere, you can kind of, here, I'll bring the other map up. So you can kind of see there, there's, as you're going down south of Elpa, there's a small little, maybe lake there.
We don't want to go too far down because we are still talking about going to Carlsfell. So maybe Double Leaf, I'll grab the mouse. We're just going to go right into here and get some rest.
All right, let me put that on the map here. So the boys are going to here, you say?
Yeah, kind of off to the left. Everyone thought we were going south, so maybe that's where this guard might be looking for. So we're going to go into the woods to the left, and then we'll discuss if we're going to go back to Carlsfeld or head down to Duborg.
Yep. All right.
But whichever way we do it, maybe we know we come out on this end here, and we can travel the river.
Yep. There is a main road that goes down between the Tri-Cities.
I think it looks. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that gray is a main road. That's because that's between three cities.
Yeah.
Three of the main cities. There's a lot of travel. This. Obviously just from living. In this land, that is a very well traveled road. So that may be a good thing or a bad thing.
We can hide in plain sight.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: the place where we aided, I can't think of the lady's name, with her husband. How far away is that from where we're at?
We killed him.
I understand that we killed him, but
and not me.
But I would know that. But
your character doesn't know that.
Right. I don't know that, but I know that is it. That is a place that we could go to. I'm assuming is.
That was in between Carlsfell and Elpa.
Correct. Off the road.
Yeah.
Probably a little south off the road there.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Probably near the edge of that wood. Yeah. Trees, lots of them, says Krugus. I love seeing everybody's reaction. You guys are doing good. The Duke boys jump it.
We could do that.
All right. So yeah. So now you guys have a plan.
Daisy got him twisted. Don't you know it?
Yeah. Charlotte, how you guys? Yeah, we never, because of all the technical issues at the front end, we never had a chance to really call out all you regulars. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for bearing with us too. I think once we got the interview going, I think it was good. A couple of hiccups here and there, but I think generally everybody could hear Greg and all the stuff he had to say. So Surly, thanks for being here. Travis, Joe, Boss Bully Boy. Have we seen Boss Bully Boy before? I like the name. Welcome, Boss Bully Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Krugus. Yep, you guys stick around to the end, you get shout out. Meat is here. How you doing? You need a pause and a clever voiceover from Waylon Jen. It's about that time old Otto and Roland started to wonder what they were doing. Buckleberry Fairy. Yep. BioKeto, thank you for stopping in. Yeah. TW. You know, I had the a slightly new intro ready to go, and I couldn't even play it. So maybe I'll play the intro on the way out for you guys. Howard Hughes, thanks again for the super chat. All you guys that super chatted, thank you so much. Frank Destrozo, he was the one that asked about Dragonbane. Yep. Thank you guys, very, 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 very much. Get that Christmas shopping done this weekend. If you're interested in Greg's game, can't order it on Kickstarter right now, and you can't quite order it on drive-thru yet. But if you want to get in, I put Greg's email in the description of this video. You can just contact him. Obviously, Greg is a man of impeccable honor, so no worries about doing business with him off the side. So he will be happy to accommodate you if you want to order it. Yep, and I believe we put Pelgrane Press into the trader list, and also put James Raggi, Lamentations of the Flame Princess, in the hero list. We'll keep working on that. All you people that say, why are you making a list? You don't have to partake. This is just for those that do want to partake. So, all right, love you guys. Have a great night. I'll take you out with the intro that you never saw. It has a small part in it from our friend Indestructo Boy. So if you want to see that, stick around. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. Love you all. Peace. And we'll catch up with you either in video or a live stream next week.
Absolutely. Have a great week.
Yep. It was a great stream, Joe. Thanks for participating and making it such. All of you guys. Peace.
Hey, man, is that Double D? Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Let's just go in and, kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys. Who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening their refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of a mermaid or a siren, right?
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, white dudes in a basement. Which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys.
You gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
The voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
Al zurdo de mierda no le podés dar ni un milímetro.
¿Me podés definir zurdo de mierda que no?
Todos los que, digamos, los colectivistas, los que ponen, digamos, o sea, esa idea. A ver,
¿por qué le pones de mierda, digamos?
Porque son una mierda.
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
I disagree, Gary.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg, Who's this monster? She's got her own place. Otisburg? It's a little bitty place. Otisburg? Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town. Yep.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
Great. Great sandwich.
Thank you. I enjoyed having you here. You're a very good co-host.